St. Louis Rams, led by head coach Rich Brooks in his second season. The Rams 0-3 on the road this year. Ted Marchibroda and the Ravens have lost their last 3. Last week in Denver, the Ravens dropped a tough one to the Broncos, 45-34. Eddie Kennison, the rookie out of LSU, averaging 20 yards per kick return, as Matt Stover gets set to kick it off for the Ravens, as the Rams have won the toss, and we are underway from Memorial Stadium. Short kick by Stover. Kennison from the 8. Out across the 30 to the 35-yard line. Finally taken down by Craig Powell. 27 yards on the return by Kennison. Tony Banks, rookie from Michigan State, second-round draft pick, making his 5th start of the season for the Rams. The men protecting Banks: Gandy, Goez, Brostek, White, and Wiegert. 4 rookies: Phillips, Moore in the backfield, Kennison, Bruce, the 3-year veteran, and the tight end is Ernie Conwell, another rookie. First down for the Rams from the 35. And this is Lawrence Phillips, first-round pick out of Nebraska. Battles his way ahead for 5 yards on first down. Stevan Moore able to make the stop. The Ravens have switched to a 3-4 defense due to injuries. Frederick, Jones, and Pleasant up front. Mike Caldwell back after missing the last 4 games. Lewis is the first-rounder out of Miami. Eric Turner, one of the keys to the Baltimore defensive corps, also returning after missing the last 2 games. Second down and 5. The Rams go to Phillips once again. Cuts inside for a short gain.
This Ravens defense, going from a 4-3 to a 3-4 this far into the season, you have to understand that it's as if they started the season all over again. So they're not sharp with this defense. They were very poor against the run last week in Denver, and what they've done is simplified their game plan to try to stop the run and stop Lawrence Phillips from having that breakout big game.
Third down and 3. Banks to the air for the first time. Cannot find anyone, and he is taken down. Anthony Pleasant, in his 7th season out of Tennessee State, as the Rams go 3 and out on their first possession.
You have to credit the Ravens coverage, because Tony Banks gets back there. There's a pretty good pocket to start with, and watch, he's got some time. And now he starts to scramble to the right, which is his left. Every time he scrambles that way today, Rich Brooks wants him to hang on to the football. He's had the most problems turning the ball over when he scrambles to his left and tries to throw.
First sack of the season for Pleasant. Baltimore native Sean Landeta. Booming kick. Jermaine Lewis, rookie from the University of Maryland. He fumbles, and the Rams have recovered. Jermaine Lewis coughs it up following the 52-yard punt, and the rookie tight end Ernie Conwell on the recovery.
They're signaling first down Ravens. Oh, now they're signaling the right way. Okay. Yeah, the Ravens offense started to come out because the official was signaling it the other way. This is something the Rams need. They won the game last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home on turnovers. Turnovers won the game for them last week, and this is important for them. Now their offense is down in the red zone. Their offense has struggled, the Rams, but they've been decent in the red zone. Once they get down there, they've been pretty good at putting the ball across the line for points.
Following the fumble, the Rams start out from the Ravens' 19-yard line. Isaac Bruce in motion. Lawrence Phillips pulls his way ahead for a gain of approximately 2 yards. Mike Frederick on the tackle. Lawrence Phillips, the 6th overall draft pick in the first round, and the Ravens considered drafting Phillips with the 4th pick, but passed and went for offensive lineman Jonathan Ogden instead.
2nd and 8, 17.
2-yard gain on first down. 2nd and 8. over 2 minutes in, first quarter from Baltimore. Play action, Banks. Down inside the 5. Isaac Bruce.
Giving him the
Did he
catch.
make the catch? Yes. Isaac Bruce, only 2 catches last week in the victory over Jacksonville, but they look for Bruce early.
One of the things running the ball can do for a young quarterback is set up the play action. And here you see the play action, fake the run, gives him time to find Isaac Bruce. Now, one thing Tony Banks told us yesterday, he said, I'm not keeping my eyes on Isaac Bruce long enough. Defenses are double teaming Isaac, and I've tended to pull away from him. Today, his focus is going to be on Isaac Bruce.
First and goal from the 4. Phillips cutting to the outside, down inside the 2-yard line. Eric Turner and Gerald Williams combining on the stop.
The Rams want to cut the ball back when they run today. That, more than anything, hurt the Ravens in this new formed 3-4 defense last week, especially against Denver. So watch Lawrence Phillips. He starts the ball, and then he kicks it back the other way against the grain of the defense. The difference this week is 29 right there, Eric Turner. He was out last week, replaced by Deshaun Adams. He's the leader in that Ravens secondary.
On second and goal, the pitch back goes to Phillips. It will be third and goal. It's Sutter coming up and impeding Phillips' progress. So third and goal upcoming as Phillips and Eric Turner jaw a bit at one another.
Well, one of the things Tony Banks has to watch out for is you see it right there. He almost fumbles that ball again. And he's had 11 fumbles in the 5 games he started so far this season. And he almost lost that one there. So ball handling critical for Tony Banks and the Rams.
Third and goal, the fullback is Gerald Moore. He leads the way as Phillips is stopped. Stopped just short. Ed Sutter once again from the middle linebacker position. It will be fourth and goal.
Yeah, and Rich Brooks is going to go for it. I can tell you, as a former defensive player, that nothing pumps a defense up more than the ability to have a goal line stand. Now, the Rams are down there. They're trying to run it in. The Ravens had problems with the run last week. A goal line stand at home is a turnover and a huge change in momentum. This is a huge play.
They go to Phillips once again, and he is stopped.
Wow, what a stuff. Oh, man. Look at the excitement. Unbelievable.
Again, it was Ed Sutter.
Look at Sutter
54.
coming off the field, high-stepping. He looks like Deion Sanders.
He stopped Phillips 3 times during this drive.
Outstanding defensive football by the Baltimore Ravens. They came into this game wanting to play more aggressively up front, and you can't get more aggressive or better on defense than a goal line stand.
Baltimore Ravens from their own 1, their first possession, movement on the line.
Vinny will do that to you. Vinny will pull you off sides, and that's a huge free 5 yards for the Baltimore Ravens. If, in fact, it's against
encroachment. Defense number 75.
Vinny will do it.
5-yard penalty.
He
First
knows
down.
how to use that voice. He's been around this league 9 years, and DeMarco Farr and Jimmy Jones have had problems all season getting off the ball quick and getting those offsides penalties.
So instead of 1st and 10 from the 1, it is now 1st and 5 on the 6-yard line.
Takes tremendous pressure off the Ravens offense.
Testaverde calling signals. Brian Kinchin, tight end, in motion. And the pass was intended for Kinchin. Broken up by Anthony Parker.
Let's go back and look at the goal line stand, which is a turnover. I want you to watch Ray Lewis. He fills this hole so quickly that Dwayne White and fullback Gerald Moore block the same man. That allows Sutter to fill up clean and watch the head. There's the double team on one guy, leaves Sutter wide open, and Sutter just manhandles Lawrence Phillips until the troops get there. Big defensive turnover on 4th down.
Ed Sutter with 3 stops of Phillips on the opening drive as Ernest Biner is caught behind the line by Robert Jones. Vinny Testaverde, 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions over the last 4 games for the Baltimore Ravens. 15 touchdowns on the year. The men protecting Vinny Testaverde. Ogden, the first-round draft pick from UCLA. The center, Steve Everett, is out, so Wally Williams shifts over. Biner and Carwell Gardner, along with the receiving core of Alexander and Jackson, and the tight end, Kinchin. 3rd and 6 flags once again as Testaverde is taken down by Kevin Carter.
Vinny got him again with the hard count. He gets him with the hard count. They're going to get it all game long. I mean, he's got 2 in this first series already.
Our referee today is Larry Nemmers.
Offside. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So now the Ravens offense goes into a goal line formation as opposed to 3 wides. Let's listen for it. Hear it there? So he gave the hard count, and he got 5 more free yards.
Second Rams penalty this drive, and they have suffered all season long from penalties. Rich Brooks not very happy about the number of penalties the Rams have taken all year. Among the league leaders. 3rd down and 1. Ernest Biner. Todd Light in on the stop, and it looks as
I
if
think the Rams stopped him.
Yes, it looks as if the Rams have stopped the Ravens on 3rd and short. So Ted Marchibroda's club will be forced to punt.
I'm surprised that Ted Marchibroda ran that ball right behind Jeff Blackshear, because he's in, because Wally Williams slid over to center, Steve Everett being out, and normally you think in a goal line situation you go behind your strength, which is Jonathan Ogden and Tony Jones on the left side.
Greg Montgomery from the end zone. Eddie Kennison calls for the fair catch. The Rams have not returned a live punt over the last 3 games, and a 52-yard punt by Montgomery. Defense, the story so far in Baltimore as the Ravens stop the Rams on the 1-yard line, and then the Rams come back and halt the Ravens drive.
Yeah, so far, I mean, both defenses have looked strong coming into this game. Both offenses thinking they were going to be able to take advantage of banged-up, struggling defenses. Not the case so far.
And now the Rams from their own 38-yard line. Banks looking downfield, finds the receiver. It's Bruce in Baltimore territory down to the 38, gain of 24 yards.
This is exactly what Tony Banks wanted to do. He wanted to be patient. He wanted to wait for Isaac Bruce to get open. And really, Isaac Bruce is the strength of not only the Rams offense, but the entire Rams team. He's a big-time weapon. He gets himself open. He just needs time.
2 receptions in last week's game against the Jaguars, 2 already here in the first quarter for Isaac Bruce. On first down, this is Phillips. Cuts inside. Down to the 32-yard line. Mike Caldwell on the stop.
Well, the Rams, as we've said, have had problems on both sides of the ball. They really have not played good football so far this season. You see here, total yards offense, last in the league. All these things here are last. First downs per game, and then defensively, total yards allowed, last, and first downs allowed, last. A lot of the defensive troubles, though, a function of an offense that cannot stay out on the field.
Injury timeout on the field. No score midway through quarter number 1.
Bad news for the Baltimore Ravens with an already depleted defensive line. It's Mike Frederick, the starting defensive end, who's down on the field. Watch him here. You're going to see him go down on the pile, and you're going to see Wayne Gandy, for the Rams offensive tackle, come in and just shiver him right in the head. He gets it right there and just jams his head straight down against his neck. That is where you get neck injuries. And that's a frightening injury to have. When somebody comes down, you remember Mike Utley, the Detroit offensive lineman several years ago, that's where you're at your most vulnerable, when someone hits you directly on top of the head. Good news is Mike Frederick is sitting up now. So at worst, that's how you get a vertebrae injury. At best, it gives you a heck of a stinger. Now, a lot of people say, oh, a stinger, that's no big deal. When you get a stinger, you feel like you're going to die. You feel like someone just took a rusty dagger and plunged it into the back of your neck. And the pain continues to just surge through your body, through your shoulder and through one half of your body, your shoulder, your arm, your chest. Not only now, but for the rest of the game, and sometimes for the rest of the season. Sometimes a stinger will stay with you. It'll never go away, because what happens is there are nerves coming out of the spinal column, and when they get jammed or damaged, they swell up. And then unless the swelling goes down, that stinger is going to haunt you for the rest of the season.
Gandy, 292 pounds, came down on Frederick, who was replaced by Tim Goad, number 73. Here's Phillips, down to the 25-yard line, and a Rams first down. Did you ever suffer from a stinger during your career?
No question. And sometimes you can come back within the same game, or sometimes an injury like that can end your career. I mean, he could walk in and they could do an X-ray or an MRI and find out that the damage is more extensive than the stinger. But see the way he's holding his right arm there? That tells you that the pain and the shock is on the right side of his body.
From the 25, Lawrence Phillips, met by Ray Lewis.
There it is. Once again, this is the side of his body that's affected. You see the way he's holding his hand? Now the pain and the numbness and the burning just goes down through the arm, and it stays with you. And then you go in and you take your pads off and you take a shower. And believe it or not, the shower is almost as painful as the injury, because when that water starts to hit you, your skin is so sensitized that it's like electrified every time something comes in contact with your skin.
Banks on 2nd and 8 in trouble.
Lost the ball.
Coughs it up. His 12th fumble in 6 games. And the question is, who has it? It will be Rams football. The first signal from the officials.
Well, there's no question that Tony Banks has small hands. We looked at him last night. I compared my hand to his, and they're shorter than mine, and I don't have big hands at 6'2". And watch it here. He's got both hands on the ball, and he loses it. So he was doing what he was coached to do. Rich Brooks said he's got to have 2 hands on the ball, not 1. So he's got 2. But when that helmet comes right up under the ball like that, almost any quarterback is going to fumble it.
Mike Caldwell made the hit. Banks in trouble again. Scrambles away and then throws it away.
That's one where Rich Brooks wants Tony Banks to run. Banks is a good athlete. He's got a big, strong body. And when he rolls to the left, again, Rich Brooks doesn't want him to throw it. He wants him to try to run with it and scramble. Pick something up, maybe a first down. Who knows?
So now it will be Landetta, the Baltimore native, attended nearby Loch Raven High School. His jersey was retired yesterday afternoon by his alma mater, Towson State, here in Baltimore.
Well, Landetta was telling me before the game today that when he was a high school kid, he snuck out onto this very same field when Ted Marchibroda was the head coach of the Colts.
Takes a Rams bounce, and they will down it inside the 5-yard line.
Nice pooch punt by Sean Landetta. When he met Coach Marchibroda, he said, hey, I'm a high school kid, but I'm a pretty good kicker. When he saw Marchibroda today, Ted said, hey, 20 years later, who'd have thought?
Ernest Biner on first down as the Ravens, who began from their own 1-yard line on their last possession, this time start from the 3. Deep in their own territory. The Rams defensive unit ranked last in the National Football League. The front 4, O'Neal with Jones, Farr, and Kevin Carter, the #1 pick a year ago. Pfeiffer, Jones, and Antonio Goss for the injured Carlos Jenkins. Anthony Parker with touchdowns the last 2 weeks, and Gerald McBurrows That strong safety for the injured Toby Wright. Finer to the outside. Not much. And right now for a McDonald's update. Let's head back to James Brown to the Fox Television Center.
Kenny and Tim, San Francisco having to operate without Steve Young because of this hit right here by Michael Barrow. That on the opening drive. The play should never have been. Houston called timeout, had 12 men on the field. The players never heard the whistle. Let's take it back to Baltimore. Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
Elvis Gerbach inactive, so the 49ers down to Jeff Brom and Gino Toretta.
Wow.
And the Ravens with a tough situation as well. 3rd and 7. Deep in their own territory.
And he got him again.
Yep, 3rd time. Another flag thrown from the defensive backfield as Biner is stopped shy of the 10-yard line.
So what you hope for here is a pass interference or a defensive holding, which will give you a first down instead of the 5 yards that the encroachment penalty gives you.
Defense, 93. Offside. Holding offense, 81. Penalties offset. Replay 3rd down.
Kevin Carter jumped. Michael Jackson held.
Well, Michael Jackson knew it was going to be a physical game today, and he told us yesterday he was going to do whatever he had to do to hand fight Anthony Parker and Todd Light to get himself open. He's 6'4", and he's rangy, he's lanky, but he still plays a physical game.
Similar to the Lions, Herman Moore. 3rd and 7. 3 wide receivers for the Ravens. Testaverde from the end zone, airs it out. Jackson could not get to it. And a flag is thrown once again on the far side.
Well, that was not a well-thrown ball by Vinny Testaverde, because Michael Jackson got himself cleanly open on that play, and Vinny had time, too.
Offensive pass interference, number 82. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, that's Derek Alexander on the same side. Now, what the Rams defensively said coming into this game today was, we're going to put Anthony Parker on Michael Jackson, as you see here. We're going to put Todd Light on Derek Alexander, and we're going to be physical. We're going to get our hands on there, but look how open Michael Jackson is, and Vinny just doesn't drop the ball in there.
Montgomery punching from his own end zone. Anderson driven back, and once again calls for the fair catch. Another 52-yard punt by Montgomery with 3.5 to go in this first quarter. The Rams and the Ravens scoreless.
Well, Kenny, the Rams offensively are starting 5 rookies out of 11. So we're going to keep our eye on them today, and we'll give them a report card. Eddie Kennison at wide receiver, Ernie Conwell at tight end, Tony Banks in the middle at quarterback, Lawrence Phillips, and Gerald Moore at fullback. So we'll keep our eyes on these guys. Now, last time we did a Rams game, I gave these rookies a report card, and you said you wished that I had been your teacher at school.
Yeah, I mean, the lowest grade you gave was a B-. They lost the game 45-13. Here's Banks looking for Bruce, who leaps and makes the catch. Acrobatic play by Isaac Bruce with Antonio Langham climbing up his back. A gain of 49 yards.
What an absolutely beautiful throw by Tony Banks. And he said to us again, he wanted to keep his eyes on Isaac Bruce and stay with Isaac Bruce. Watch him here. He watches Bruce all the way. Look at that. His offensive line gives him time. And now watch Bruce. Antonio Langham is there. But the problem Antonio Langham has had all season is not staying with his man or being tight on coverage. It's been with finishing the play, getting his hands in there, and stripping the ball from the wide receiver's hands.
Banks rolling right, fires towards the end zone. Touchdown, Isaac Bruce.
Antonio Langham on the coverage.
What a nice play by a rookie quarterback and his go-to guy. And a nice strategy by the Rams offense to come in telling Tony Banks, you've got to look for Bruce. Now watch it here. It's the bootleg play. Again, fake the run. Tony Banks uses his speed to beat Mike Kroll, and he delivers that ball in there nicely. Again, rolling to his right. When Tony Banks runs to his right, they want him to throw the football.
Chip Lohmiller on the point after. Tony Banks, 4 of 5, 92 yards. All 4 completions have gone to Isaac Bruce.
And when you get something going like this, watch out, because Isaac Bruce is a game day player, and when he starts to get hot, he will stay hot. What the Ravens have to do now is put 2 on him all the time. And it's a nice pass by Banks, not a pretty spiral, but it's nice in that he leads it out in front of Isaac Bruce, away from the defender, Antonio Langham.
7th touchdown pass of the season for 23-year-old Tony Banks.
You talk about a rookie having a breakout day. You can't break out much more than that. Going 4 for 5 with all those yards and a touchdown.
2-play, 57-yard drive. And Bruce on the receiving end of both plays. So the Rams have gone on top by the score of 7-0 last week. They were dominated in all statistical categories by the Jaguars, yet they won the game. Here today, the reverse. St. Louis with 107 yards of total offense, Baltimore 2.
The problem the Ravens had coming into this game is thinking that Antonio Langham could cover Isaac Bruce alone. He can't.
Randy Baldwin takes the kickoff out to the 20-yard line. Keith Crawford on the stop.
It was fascinating on the pregame show when Terry Bradshaw spoke with Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy said, I just want this scheme behind me. I want it all to go away, and I want to focus on the race in the AFC. That was a great interview.
1st and 10 for the Ravens from the 20. Play action, Testaverde with time. Michael Jackson makes the catch, his first reception, and a Ravens first down.
And I think that while the Ravens defensively can't cover Isaac Bruce one-on-one, I think the Rams are going to have a very difficult time covering Michael Jackson one-on-one. You see him working there at the bottom against Anthony Parker. And Vinny standing in there, hanging on, taking the heat, but delivering that ball high. Because, again, Michael Jackson is 6'4". He's got the height advantage over Anthony Parker, and you always want to deliver the ball high.
Ernest Biner once again, and he has had his problems in this first quarter. 5 carries, only 3 yards.
This is the best I've seen the Rams defense play the run game all season. Now, what Rams defensive coordinator Willie Shaw does to stop the run is he plays 8 men up on the line. He moves his safety, normally Toby Wright. Today, Gerald McBurrow's up into the mix, and they play the run by out-manning the offense, putting a man in every hole. Today, they've been aggressive in filling those holes.
3 wide receivers for the Ravens on 2nd and 9. They keep it on the ground with Biner, and he is caught behind the line of scrimmage. Jimmy Jones, the first Ram, and Ravens hearing some boos from the crowd. Perhaps we will see more of Bam Morris this week, the former Pittsburgh Steeler who made his Raven debut last week.
Well, the problem, Kenny, isn't the running back. The problem is the penetration that the Rams are getting defensively. Now watch it here. It's Jimmy Jones is the guy who gets right up into the backfield and makes this play. And then look at it. There's Leslie O'Neal. There's linebacker Antonio Goss. So they're all getting up there, hitting their holes, getting penetration into the Ravens' backfield.
On 3rd and long, Testaverde dumps it off to Biner. But he is well short of the first down. Gerald McBurrow's on the stop, so the Ravens will be forced to punt.
And that was a nice job of coverage by the Rams, forcing Vinny to dump that ball off to his running back, Ernest Biner.
Final seconds of this first quarter, with the Rams on top thanks to the touchdown pass. 8 yards from Tony Banks to Isaac Bruce. And that will do it for the first quarter from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, with the Rams leading the Ravens by the score of 7-0. The St. Louis Rams lead the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 7-0. Kenny Albert, Tim Green back with you from Memorial Stadium. Tim, in the open, you said the Ravens hoped this was not the day that Tony Branks would enjoy a breakout game, but he had a terrific first quarter.
Well, he has, and the reason why he's seeing a little bit of a breakout here today is because he's looked for Isaac Bruce and he's found him. He's been patient, and the Rams offensive line has given him time to wait for Bruce to get open.
Good punt by Montgomery, backing Kennison inside the 10, but he breaks free to the outside. Eddie Kennison to midfield, still on his feet, finally taken down at the Ravens 44 after a return of 39 yards. The rookie out of LSU, the leading punt return man in the NFL.
Well, the Ravens were concerned with Eddie Kennison. The reason being, watch him bait the defense. He comes up into the middle of the field to draw the coverage, and then he has the speed to break to the outside and beat the corner, beat the contain man to the corner and race up the sideline. You want to play special teams in the NFL? Watch Deron Jenkins getting worked over. You got one guy, you got two guys on you the whole way. It never stops. It never stops, and they're in your face.
Lawrence Phillips up the middle on first down inside the 40.
Well, certainly one thing an opened up passing game, which the Rams have shown so far this game, does for you is it loosens the defense. It forces the defense, the guys in the secondary, even the linebackers, to start to back up, to start to think pass. And when they think pass, that's the time you want to run your young rookie running back right at him.
8-yard gain for Phillips on first down. 2nd and 2, Isaac Bruce in motion. Lawrence Phillips, first down. Ray Lewis on the stop. Rich Brooks, Rams coach, told us yesterday that Lawrence Phillips had a good week at practice. He's been more decisive, quicker with his decisions, and gaining confidence.
There's no question that Lawrence Phillips has great running instincts. He just has to use them. And he's used them this season only sporadically. When he puts it together and uses them play after play, he will be dangerous.
Banks airing it out, looking end zone, jump ball, incomplete. Eddie Kennison, the intended receiver, Antonio Langham on the coverage.
Well, that was a dangerous pass for Tony Banks to throw. And even though he's up 7-0, he can't forget that he's got to protect that ball, not only with the fumbles, but with the interceptions. Because Antonio Langham knows he's got help underneath, so watch the depth he gets. And then Banks just puts this ball up. If Langham is just a little bit better of a receiver, he gets his hands out in front of that ball, pulls it in, and the Ravens started their corner.
Players blown dead on 2nd and 10. The Ravens had called timeout. We'll return to Baltimore in a moment. Back in downtown Baltimore, in 2 years, the Ravens will move into a brand new stadium right next to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. But for the remainder of this season and next, at the former home of the Baltimore Colts, Memorial Stadium.
But they're going to bring the grass with them. It's that sport grass that the players love so much because it stays. It's real grass, but it gives you firm footing.
Banks rolling right, and he is taken out. Lost the football again. Banks coughed it up for the second time in this first half. The Rams say they have it.
Somebody's hurt, too.
Looks to be Bernd Brostek, the Rams center.
Rams got that ball back. The ball's been on the ground 3 times in this game, and the Rams have come away with it each of the 3 times. 2 times the Rams fumbled. They got their own fumbles. 1 time the Ravens fumbled.
And while we have a moment, let's head to this McDonald's game break with James Brown and our Fox Television Center.
Kenny, the Packers culminated an 8-play, 63-yard drive with this Dorsey Levens 1-yard run. They lead it by 10. Oh, and a note for you. Steve Young of the 49ers, out with a concussion, will not be back today. Take it back to Kenny Albert and our guy, Tim Green.
Oh, man, that's an honor. When you start becoming JB's guy, you kind of puff up a little bit. But the 49ers now, without Steve Young, you have to wonder how are they going to get that job done. Young's out, Gerbach's out, and it looks like Rostek may be out for the Rams. Even with a depleted defensive line, the Ravens have 3 sacks already today. Watch Tony Banks having problems hanging on to that football with his hands. And I can tell you this, Rich Brooks' reaction on the sideline was to be absolutely livid. And if Tony Banks, as talented as he is, can't hang on to the football, it's going to severely, detrimentally affect his career in the National Football League.
Now the Rams with 3 wide receivers as Banks had trouble with the snap.
Well, that was a heads-up play by Banks because the snap came too soon. Bernd Brostek, of course, out. Mike Grudadoria in replacing him, and he snapped that ball before anyone was ready for it. So it was a heads-up play by Banks just to take it up the middle. Watch it here. Watch Grudadoria snap this ball, and everybody along the line stays still except Grudadoria. Now look at Banks. He says, hey, I better do something with this. And he just tries to make anything happen and take it straight up the middle.
50-yard field goal attempt for Chip Lohmiller. The holder is Keith Lyle, and the kick by Lohmiller is good from 50, his season high.
That 3 points there belongs to Tony Banks. Heads-up play, taking a snap too soon, picking up the yards Lohmiller needed to get it in.
Back in Baltimore, the St. Louis Rams out to a 10-0 lead as Jermaine Lewis awaits the Chip Lohmiller offering. Lohmiller a season-long 50-yard field goal just moments ago. 10-0 second quarter lead. Randy Baldwin down to one knee in the end zone. So the Ravens will start from their own 20-yard line. Our Aflac trivia question today: who holds the NFL record for highest completion percentage in a game? Which quarterback holds the NFL record for highest completion percentage in one game? Any guesses, Mr. Green?
Well, I'm going to guess it's not Tony Banks.
That would seem to be a good guess.
So if it's not Tony Banks, probably another quarterback in this game, but I'm just guessing.
On first down, Derek Alexander took a hit from Todd Light and could not hold on.
Well, it's quick pressure that forces Vinny to throw that ball before Alexander's ready to catch it. It's quick pressure by the Rams defense. You're going to see Roman Pfeiffer coming in on a blitz right at the top of the screen, and watch him here. Vinny knows he's on him. Actually, it's Leslie O'Neal who gets on him quick. But the Rams blitz the linebackers, got the instant pressure on Vinny.
Bam Morris now in the backfield for Baltimore. Second down and 10, 3 wide receivers. Testaverde just 2 of 5. Over the middle, has the completion. Floyd Turner. And he is taken down by Robert Jones.
I think what the Ravens need to do is stay with this 3 wide receiver formation. Because if you look at their success, especially last week against Denver, Ted Marsha-Broda's offense was at its best with 3 wide receivers and really a hurry-up offense. That's how they've been most efficient this season. And he told us yesterday that if he needed it, he'd go to it. Well, he needs it.
Eric Green in at tight end for the Ravens. Third down and 3. Testaverde's pass is complete. That's Eric Green, the former Pittsburgh Steeler and Miami Dolphin. And he is involved in a pushing and shoving match with Todd Light.
Well, Eric Green didn't know where he was on the field because he allowed himself to fall down backwards instead of getting across that 30-yard line and picking up a critical first down. Now, he has not been in the game that long. He's just started back here, and watch him here. He catches that and falls this way towards the line. He needed to get to that 30-yard line to pick up the first down. He didn't do it, and now the Ravens have to punt.
Fourth punt of the game for Montgomery. Wobbles out of bounds around the 33-yard line. So the Rams with a 10-0 lead here in the second quarter will take over on offense once again when we return. Look at the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore.
Your old hometown.
Yes, a couple of years back in the early 90s. And we had the opportunity to wander over to the harbor for lunch yesterday.
Yeah, nice place to have lunch and a nice place to have a football team.
And the Ravens trail 10-0 as Lawrence Phillips takes the handoff from Tony Banks. Tim Goad the stop.
So you have to remember now, this Ravens defense started out the season with a 4-3. They're now in a 3-4 because of injuries to Dan Footman and Rob Burnett, the Pro Bowl defensive end. Now they've lost Mike Pleasant, so Tim Goad is in there. But the Ravens, Mike Frederick is the guy that lost, so Tim Goad is in there replacing him, and the Ravens linebackers are playing pretty well against the run. It's the pass that's hurting.
Now the quick slant goes to Eddie Kennison. First Ram to catch a pass today other than Isaac Bruce. And we return, Tim, to our Aflac trivia question. Who holds the NFL record for highest completion percentage in a game? You said you don't think it's Tony Banks. Well, it is the Ravens quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, ironically against the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams in 1993. Vinny was 21 of 23 for the Cleveland Browns against the LA Rams. Today it's the Baltimore Ravens and the St. Louis Rams. Banks in trouble. Fourth sack of the game.
Nice pressure by this Ravens defense. Eric Turner, the guy in the center of it all. Number 29. I said he runs this defense. He's the guy in the backfield making the calls. It's Mike Kroll who chases Banks out of the pocket. It's Anthony Pleasant who contains him. And it's Eric Turner right there, the leader of this defense, in there on the play with a couple of his teammates to stifle the Rams' drive.
Fourth sack of the game for the Ravens. End over end punt played by Jermaine Lewis. Cuts back inside and is thrown to the turf by Purcell Gaskins. 53-yard punt by the Baltimore native, Sean Landeta.
Well, the concern, Kenny, with Eric Turner, again, the strong safety, the leader of the Ravens defensive secondary, the guy who lines guys up back there, has been his injury. Sprained ankle, a herniated fascia.
That's what Eric told us.
Yeah, and so they were worried about his mobility today, but he looked pretty mobile on that last play to stop the Rams.
Ravens trail 10-0. First and 10 from their own 19-yard line. Testaverde with plenty of time, and he finds a receiver. It's Turner. Only the second first down of the game for Baltimore. Gain of 24 yards.
Absolutely outstanding by this Baltimore offensive line. Watch the time Vinny has. Watch the sight lines Vinny has. Look at all that time. He's standing back there, and he's able to find his receiver down the field. If they give Vinny that amount of time, his receivers will get open. Once again, the Ravens back to their three-wide receiver formation. That's where they're best.
Testaverde on first down. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, the receiver.
Taken out of bounds by Anthony Parker. Well, Michael Jackson told us yesterday he watched the films during the week of the Rams game against the Jaguars last week, and he watched his former teammate Keenan McCardell catch 16 passes. He said, why can't I do that against the Rams?
Well, that's right. And right there, it's just the break, and it's a nice throw by Vinny Testaverde, showing how well these two guys are working together.
First carry of the game, Bam Morris to the Rams' 35-yard line.
Sure. You don't think the crowd loves to see a load like that get up in the air? A 13-yard gain by Morris. And when I say a load, 6 foot, 245 pounds, he got that stuff up. He did a little bit of leaping to pick that 13 yards up.
And the Ravens have gone to what they call their sugar huddle. Their sugar huddle offense. Testaverde looking for Turner once again. Coverage on the play by Torin Dorn.
Well, when the passing game starts to go, it opens it up for the run. We saw it with the Rams offense earlier. Watch Bam Morris here. Look at him. Watch this leap right here. Look at that. Whoa, up and over like a hurdler. That's a big load to put up in the air. And then he gets out in the open field, and instead of putting a move on somebody, he does it like the old Baltimore Colts did. They just lowered the shoulder and put the boom on the defensive back.
Off the fingertips of Jackson, picked off by Keith Lyle.
Michael Jackson, the intended receiver.
And Lyle fumbles, but it rolls out of bounds. Second Ravens turnover of this first half. Only the 8th interception thrown by Testaverde this season in 8 games.
This is something that the Rams defensive secondary does as well as any secondary in the National Football League. When a ball goes up into the air, they are trained by defensive coordinator Willie Shaw to bring it down. Now, Vinny puts the ball where it's got to be. Michael Jackson just flat fumbles it, puts it up in the air, and then Keith Lyle brings it down. When you tip a ball against the Rams secondary, you're going to lose it. They're going to bring it in for an interception.
5th pick this year for Lyle, born in Washington, D.C., about 45 minutes from Memorial Stadium. Following the turnover, Rams back to the offense. Play action pass is complete. Isaac Bruce with his 5th reception of this first half, and another St. Louis Rams first down.
Well, I told you that if Tony Banks is patient and waits, Isaac Bruce will get open sooner or later, one way or another. Now, Langham gets a nice shot on him, stays with him, but watch this push here. Look at that. I mean, Bruce has only been in the league 2 years, but he uses his hands to run Antonio Langham off to get himself open.
11th career 100-yard game for Isaac Bruce. Phillips to the outside.
Look out.
Lawrence Phillips, his longest run of this rookie season.
What a nice play call by Rich Brooks or Jack Riley, the offensive coordinator for the Rams. You know this, the action we've been seeing before? The bootleg. This looks like the bootleg, only this time he hands it off. And Phillips cuts it back against that 3-4 defense that the Ravens are not accustomed to playing. Then we see a stiff arm, we see some speed, so a nice, hey, this may be Phillips' breakout game as well as Tony Banks.
22-yard gain, his longest run of the season. Here's Phillips again. He has 63 yards on the afternoon, and that is his season high. Coming into this afternoon's game, Phillips' best was 54 yards against Carolina, but 63 in this first half alone.
If he duplicates that in the second half, he'll be well up over 100, and that's a breakout game. No question, this could be his breakout game.
And he does it against the club, which had the opportunity to select him with that 4th overall draft pick. In fact, he had dinner, a 5-hour dinner with team owner Art Modell, but the Ravens decided to choose Jonathan Ogden instead. And of course, the well-documented off-the-field problems involving Phillips. Harold Green with the first handoff of the day to Green and his 1,000th career carry.
Well, when Harold Green comes in for the Rams, typically the defense thinks that the Rams are thinking pass because he knows the offense better. He's better on the blitz pickups. He's better on the running the pass patterns than Lawrence Phillips. So they made the defense think pass, and they ran it.
3rd down and 8. Quick slant intended for Bruce.
Nice coverage.
Yes, broken up by Deron Jenkins, a native of St. Louis, playing against his hometown team.
Deron Jenkins provides a nice changeup in the Ravens coverage. What he has, he's not as big and physical as the 2 other guys Langham and Brady, but he's got quickness. And look at that quickness there. He actually gets himself in front of Isaac Bruce. So he reads it, he uses his head, he says this is a slant, and he has the quickness to get himself to the front side of that pass and knock it down.
Chip Lohmiller hit from 50 earlier. This attempt from 38 yards out. Lohmiller now 2 for 2 as the Rams have gone on top by the score of 13-0 over the Ravens from Memorial Stadium. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first half.
Boy, Rich Brooks has to be happy. Yeah, oh, he even cracked. He's cracking some smiles there.
Rich told us yesterday we are not in sync offensively. We are our own worst enemy. But he said it was their best week of practice, coming off the win over Jacksonville.
He said Banks looked sharp, Phillips looked sharp, and he was smart. I mean, Rich Brooks was smart getting Tony Banks to focus on Isaac Bruce in that passing game. Now the passing game is working. Isaac Bruce is catching the ball. And then what that does is it opens up the run game and enables Lawrence Phillips to have maybe his breakout game. So it's a nice game plan, a nice focus by Rich Brooks for his players to find the weapons, find the tools that they need to open up the whole thing.
It was 1 year ago today when Art Modell signed a secret agreement at Baltimore Washington International Airport to move the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore. October 27th, 1995. And then a week and a half later, Modell publicly announced the move. And his team now trails 13-0. This is Brian Kinship out across the 40. So good field position for the Ravens. When we return, they trail by 13. On 1st and 10, Testaverde's pass is short, intended for the tight end, Eric Green.
Once again, Willie Shaw, the Rams defensive coordinator, playing a very aggressive strategy today against this Ravens offense. Vinny feeling the heat right away. Watch the linebackers. Here comes the backer right up the middle. It frees up DeMarco Farr and Kevin Carter and forces Vinny to throw this ball too soon and too short.
Testaverde on second down to Green. Tackled by Keith Lyle. Green's second reception of the afternoon.
Wow, you know Keith Lyle is a hitter when he can drop a man this big right there in his tracks, like he was using one of those, you know, like a big game hunter or something, because Green, again, is 280 pounds.
Testaverde to the far side. It's Floyd Turner, and a flag is thrown on the play. Turner with a first down in Rams territory.
Most of the flags today in the secondary have been offensive flags, as this one is as well, against the Ravens receivers, reacting to the more physical cornerback play of the Rams.
Number 81, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
That's Michael Jackson called for the penalty, which will force the Ravens back.
Michael Jackson told us yesterday that when Anthony Parker pressed him, he was going to use his hands. He was going to hand fight him. He was going to battle him. He was going to head slap him if he had to, but he was going to get himself open. Anthony Parker winning that battle today, because anytime you can draw the penalty from the offensive guy, you're doing something right.
Parker named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week. Third and long. Testaverde's pass is complete for the first down to Michael Jackson.
He throws the ball up in the air to say, here, take that. Nice retribution by Michael Jackson picking up this first down. Now watch what he does to Anthony Parker. He uses his speed. He says, all right, forget the physical thing, and watch him get the hand down. He fakes him. He does the swim. He says, if the physical thing won't work, I'll use my speed. He turns, separates, and Vinny delivers the ball.
Flag is thrown. The intended receiver,
now this time
Eric
it'll be on the Rams.
Gerald McBurrows on the coverage.
Well, once again, we talk about this big old freight train in the middle.
Number 23, automatic first down.
And Gerald McBurrows in for the injured Toby Wright. last night was very concerned about Eric Green. And he said, look, this guy is so big and so fast, I got to play him. And what he does, he gets his hand around Eric Green's back to make that play. That's one that sometimes is called, sometimes it's not called.
That time it was.
There you go.
Testaverde changing the call at the line. Quick drop, and it's Jackson once again, and you see him throw the ball in the air following the catch.
Oh, that's a great play by Jackson. Now the Rams, when Vinny changed the play, the Rams changed the defense. Watch Lyle run up, and he's going to play physical on Jackson. Jackson just throws him out of the way and gets himself open on the slant. The Rams brought Keith Lyle up there to stop that quick release. Michael Jackson's hot right now. Sometimes the way to get a guy hot is call a penalty against him.
Viner on 2nd and 1 is stopped by the combination of Parker and Roman Pfeiffer. We alluded earlier to the sugar huddle. The Ravens not going with the conventional huddle. They line up at the line of scrimmage, and then Testaverde calls the play.
They're doing that now, and what that can do is wear a defense down and force a defense to go to an automatic call. If they don't have time to get the play into the sideline, they have a standard defense that they know they'll use in any situation.
3rd and 1, Derek Alexander makes the catch for another Ravens first down, and they will try and get another playoff before the 2-minute warning.
Well, this is all Vinny here, because when you throw these slant patterns like that with defensive backs on your wide receivers, you have to throw the ball very exactly.
3 wide receivers plus Bam Morris. Testaverde looking to escape.
Oh,
Kevin
nice play.
Carter could not.
Kevin Carter knew it. He knew Vinny Testaverde is a guy who can scramble, who can elude you out of the pocket. And when we spoke to him yesterday, he said the biggest thing we have to do is be disciplined in our pass lanes. Kevin Carter stays outside. He gets one hand on Vinny and brings him down for the sack.
Loss of 14 yards. Kevin Carter in his 2nd year out of the University of Florida, now with 4.5 sacks on the season. Loss of 14 on the previous play, so it will be 2nd down and 24 for the Ravens. 2 minutes to go, first half. Baltimore trailing St. Louis 13-0. Ravens once again with 3 wide receivers. Testaverde rolling right, hangs onto it, and is taken down. Leslie O'Neal along with Purcell Gaskins. Tim, coming up on the Dockers halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Ronnie will bring you scores and highlights from Week 9 of the National Football League season, and we will preview the commotion by the ocean. Jerry versus Jimmy, Cowboys and the Dolphins. Game 2 of our Fox Sunday doubleheader. Testaverde on 3rd down, wide open, Floyd Turner, and he is in for the touchdown. "27 yards. Turner's 2nd touchdown reception this season.
What an outstanding job by the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. Watch the time they give Vinny Testaverde. Watch these guys. Look at that pocket. Look at the throwing lane. And then the change of direction is what gets Floyd Turner into the end zone.
And the extra point by Stover is no good. He had hit his last 131 attempts. The streak comes to an end. Matt Stover wide left on the point after.
That kills you, because now a touchdown and extra point only ties this ball game.
Matt Stover, 2nd all-time in terms of field goal accuracy in his career, only his 3rd miss of a point after.
Back to the touchdown, Kenny. Watch Eric Turner come. He finds the soft spot in the zone defense. He sits up, but watch it here. It's the break that gets him into the end zone. It's the break against the grain and some missed tackles by the Rams defense that puts this baby in. Again, the protection that Vinny Testaverde has, and then Floyd Turner's outstanding speed and move to find the end zone.
Floyd Turner played for Ted Marchibroda in Indianapolis last year, signed as a free agent during the offseason. Some controversy as the Colts felt that he was their property. But Turner, a member of the Baltimore Ravens in their inaugural season. And now with a minute 19 to go in this second quarter. And the Rams up by a touchdown. J.T. Thomas. He is met by Donnie Brady.
Well, one thing the Baltimore Ravens have been able to do is throw touchdown passes. So Vinny's got another one now. You can make that 16, but he's right up there in the company of Brett Favre, John Elway, Scott Mitchell, and Jeff Hostetler. Vinny, again, having his best season as a quarterback in his 9-year career.
He told us he's more confident this year, and unlike under previous regimes, he has been given the freedom to check off and change the plays at the line of scrimmage.
And you have to credit Ted Marchibroda and Don Strock, the quarterback coach, for Vinny Testaverde's confidence.
Rams with all 3 timeouts. Banks to the outside. Kennison makes the catch, has the first down.
Kennison, the receiver.
And the clock is stopped with a minute 4 to go.
And a 15 on the first down.
What you'll see with a rookie quarterback in Tony Banks is a 2-minute offense that's not quite as fast, not quite as sharp as a 2-minute offense with a guy like Vinny Testaverde, who's been around the league for 9 years straight. So as a rookie quarterback, you need even more time in this 2-minute drill to drive it down the field.
Remember, Chip Lohmiller has the range, hit from 50 yards out earlier. Should the Rams get in field goal position, and that one is picked off.
Boy, that ball looked like it bounced. But this is the kind of turnaround you want for the Ravens, and who's at the center of it? Eric Turner. He is so valuable to this team, not only with big plays, not only running the offense, but with running the defense, but with turnovers. Now, Tony Banks, again, the rookie mistake. He forces that ball in there, trying to make something happen in the midst of chaos. And that's not what you want to do when you're a rookie. And Eric Turner is out there hunting that ball down.
Big quarter for the Turners. They're not related. Floyd with the touchdown.
Yeah.
Eric the interception. Ted Turner wishes his Atlanta Braves had the same luck last night. Batted away by Anthony Parker.
Nice play by Anthony Parker, closing in on that bat. Now, the problem that Anthony Parker has is he's a gambler. So while he'll come up with a big play from time to time like that, or a big interception as he has in the past 2 weeks with interceptions for turnovers, he overcommits sometimes where he takes a chance, takes a gamble, and that's when you can get burned deep.
Plus Parker looking to tie his own league record with a touchdown 3 consecutive weeks from the defensive side of the ball. Testaverde dumps it off. Ernest Biner. Clock continues to run, down to 45 seconds remaining. Ravens with 2 timeouts. Gain of 6 on the play.
I would think that now would be one of those times where you want to use a timeout. They're losing a lot.
3 wide receivers set. Testaverde looking for Turner again. He could not hold on. Double coverage, yet he nearly was able to make the catch.
Remember earlier we talked about Antonio Langham not finishing plays for the Baltimore Ravens defense. Well, this time Torin Dorn finishes this play. He's with the receiver. He's right there with Floyd Turner. Watch how he finishes the play. Look at that. He keeps his hands out there. He keeps his eyes on the ball, and he slaps it out of Turner's hands to save the touchdown and force the Ravens into a field goal situation.
43-yard attempt. Stover missed the point after moments ago. And he is also wide left on the field goal attempt. Second all-time field goal kicker in terms of accuracy, not having a good afternoon. Well, Matt Stover usually Mr. Dependable for the Ravens.
Yeah, well, he's going to be Mr. Lonely on the sideline, because when you're a kicker and you start missing extra points and you start missing field goals that can change the momentum in a game, it's a lonely place to be on an NFL sideline.
And the Rams will run out the clock as they lead at the half by the score of 13-6.
Well, the Rams have found an offense that's going to work. Tony Banks to Isaac Bruce, Lawrence Phillips starting to break out, but the Ravens found their offense too. You'll see them come out in the second half and stick with that sugar huddle, which is almost a no huddle, and Vinny Testaverde throwing to 3 wide receivers.
Big first quarter for the combination of Tony Banks and Isaac Bruce. Testaverde came back in the second quarter with his touchdown strike to Floyd Turner. It's the St. Louis Rams leading the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 13-6 in the first of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Remember, the Ravens have scored an average of 31 points per game over the last 3 weeks, only 6 in this first half. Baltimore, just 4 days until Halloween. Kenny Albert, Tim Green with you as the Rams lead the Ravens by the score of 13-6. First half highlights.
Well, the Ravens have got to be a little bit afraid, because Tony Banks is finding Isaac Bruce as he does on this 8-yard touchdown pass. Another long pass before that got him there. And then Vinny Testaverde comes back with his own version of an air game to Floyd Turner, who makes the cutback and gets into the end zone. I think what Vinny Testaverde is going to do is he's going to stay, and Ted Marchibroda, the coach, is going to stay with this 3 wide receiver formation and stay with what you were talking about, which is the sugar huddle, which means the offense doesn't all come together in the middle of the field. They just kind of, everybody gets up on the line and Vinny calls the play. That can wear a defense down. It can keep them back on their heels. That's what's working best for the Ravens. For the Rams, the things that are working best are those 2 rookies that we talked about. The Ravens having a concern of them breaking out. Tony Banks breaking out, and then Lawrence Phillips, he's breaking out as well, responsible for an excellent ground game by the Rams in the first half.
62 yards for Lawrence Phillips in that first half as we take a look at the numbers.
Well, there it is. If you look to the left side, you see that the Rams have 70 yards on the ground compared to the Ravens 14. Now, part of that is Lawrence Phillips, but part of that is also the Rams offensive line, a group that has struggled this season and now seems to have found a little bit of confidence and a little bit of success against that depleted off defensive line that the Ravens have struggled with over the past few weeks.
The Rams will get things going in this second half as Chip Lohmiller will kick it off back deep. 23, Randy Baldwin. 84, Jermaine Lewis. The Rams looking for their first road victory of the season. 0-3. Ravens 2-1 here at home. They have yet to win on the road as well. 13-6 Rams. And Lohmiller gets things started. Short kick. Jermaine Lewis from the 11. And the rookie out of the University of Maryland takes it across the 25-yard line. Flag was thrown, a flag on the play, following the 16-yard return by Lewis.
Well, the Ravens have had poor field position almost the entire game. They're going to have it again.
During the return, number 80, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Harold Bishop, the guilty party.
That's what you always do, too. You know, you go to the coaches, hey, it wasn't me. I mean, I didn't do it. You know, it doesn't matter. You get the penalty. You get the penalty. A look at the 2 quarterbacks that you talked about coming into this game, pretty similar. Nice completion ratio percentages, especially for Banks. Both quarterbacks with a touchdown, both quarterbacks with an interception.
And once again, we see Testaverde calling the play at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 15. Ernest Biner.
Ernest Biner, the ball carrier.
Biner in the first half, 7 carries, 0 yards. And we did see a little bit of Bam Morris.
Well, as I said before in the first half, Kenny, this is the best I've seen this Rams defense play against the run. Now, they're ranked last in total yardage in defense, but in yards per carry against the run, they're actually 13th.
Testaverde's pass is complete. Eric Green, his 3rd reception.
Antonio Doss brought him out of bounds.
Gain of just 1 yard. Boy, is Ted Marchibroda looking forward to working with Eric Green the remainder of the season.
I said to him yesterday, who can you compare Eric Green to? He said, nobody. I've never seen in all my career as a coach in the National Football League a guy that big with the moves and the speed of a small man.
Testaverde in trouble, dumps it off. And the Ravens will be forced to punt. So they go 3 and out on their first offensive series of the second half.
I've got to tell you, Leslie O'Neal does not have a tremendous amount of sacks so far this season, but he's affected Vinny Testaverde today. He's put some pressure on Vinny Testaverde. O'Neal going against Tony Jones, who's struggling with an injury himself.
Fifth punt of the day for Montgomery. Kennison from the 35. And he is hit as he looked to cut wide. Carwell Gardner, the first man there. Flag on the play. 45-yard punt and a loss of 4 on the return.
I'll be interested to see who this flag is against, because I thought Deron Jenkins was blocked in the back by one of the Rams players, but it happened a lot earlier than the flag came out.
Illegal block in the back during the return on number 22. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, St. Louis.
That's Mike Skurlock. Now watch him here, and he's on Deron Jenkins. Watch it here. He pushes him right in the back. And it's funny because the officials, there was an official here and an official down at the bottom. They looked at each other, and I think they gave a nod and a wink, and one of them pulled the flag and hit Skurlock.
Kenny Albert, Jim Green in Baltimore. 1st and 10 for the St. Louis Rams. As the handoff goes to Lawrence Phillips. He lost the football, but the officials say he was down.
The Rams have been extraordinarily lucky today, putting the ball on the ground and then getting it back themselves. Because, again, Tony Banks has fumbled it twice, and the Rams have recovered. Lawrence Phillips put that ball on the ground this time, and they called it down dead. And then on the one fumble in special teams, the Ravens fumbled, and the Rams recovered that one as well. So there it was there, right there. Nice replay going back on it, and you see that, in fact, the ground did cause that fumble.
And now some movement. Penalty markers thrown.
False start, offense, 72 prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Right tackle Zach Weger.
And the Rams, as you said earlier, have had problems with penalties. The most penalties per game in 1996. They're number 4 right down here. And we've seen plenty of those penalties today. Offsides on defense, blocking in the back. Now another false start.
5th Rams penalty. Banks down the sidelines. Eddie Kennison
the receiver.
made the catch, and he has the first down. Again, a 15 on the play to the rookie Kennison, who's averaging nearly 17 yards per reception this season.
And I think that's a nice changeup to go to Eddie Kennison, because, yes, you want to look to Isaac Bruce, and he's gotten the Rams into the end zone and into scoring position in the first half. But now Eddie Kennison, it's time to come back to him, and you see the separation that he had between himself and Donnie Brady, the defensive back. It was tremendous, and that provides a great opportunity for a young quarterback.
Phillips in trouble. And he will lose yardage on first down. And right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's go to James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
Hey, Kenny, Houston struggling against the 49ers, but not Al Del Greco. 56-yarder, longest in his career, longest in the NFL this season, period. Houston nursing a 3-point lead. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Dick Stockton and Matt Millen calling the 49ers and the Oilers for Fox. And congratulations to Matt, one of 10 nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he will be there. If it's not this year, it will be some year, because he was one of the best in the business at plugging those inside holes against the run.
Banks looking for Bruce downfield, but he overthrows Isaac Bruce. Coverage on the play by Stephon Moore.
Well, when you throw to Isaac Bruce, sometimes you do overthrow, because watch the speed here. Watch him move down the field, and so you get a sense that he's going to be able to get underneath everything, but it's Stephon Moore, his body position, that prevents Isaac Bruce from coming back to that football. But Tony Banks is absolutely right in leading Isaac Bruce. And now you see Bruce taking a spell on the sideline to get his wind back.
Replaced by J.T. Thomas. Flag is thrown on third down and 13.
False start. 87 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
J.T. Thomas, the man who replaced Isaac Bruce.
And there you see the total frustration in Rich Brooks' face. He was all smiles earlier, and he really can't believe, he is completely miffed by the amount of penalties that his team has had so far this season. But I must tell you this, whenever you have an offense that is just full of rookies, 5 to be exact, that you're asking for penalties.
Third and 18. The handoff goes to Harold Green. Big hole. And he is stopped about 3 yards shy of the first down, a gain of 16 yards.
Well, it's too bad Harold Green didn't keep his feet under him, because I think he might have, I think he was so surprised at how far he got that he lost his footing. He lost his feet. He had such a forward lean. I think he might have been able to pick up that first down. There's the penalties per yard, and there's the frustration in Rich Brooks' face. 6 penalties, 39 yards.
2 during that drive, so now Landeta will punt it away. High snap. And Jermaine Lewis, looking up into the sun, calls for the fair catch
At the 15.
at his own 15-yard line. 45-yard punt by Landeta.
There you go.
Unplug the cable, pull out the rabbit ears. Testaverde overthrows the intended receiver, Floyd Turner. Unusual today in that both the Ravens and the Redskins are playing at home at the same time. Down at RFK Stadium, about 45 minutes down I-95, the Redskins and the Colts, and the Ravens here in Baltimore, both teams with sellout crowds. And next year, when the Redskins move, their new suburban Maryland stadium will only be about 25 miles from Baltimore.
Oh, what a move by Light.
Todd Light into the end zone. Touchdown. Another defensive touchdown for the St. Louis Rams. Anthony Parker doing it the last 2 weeks. And today, it is Todd Light.
Todd Light sold that coverage to Vinny Testaverde like an actor on a soundstage. Unbelievable move by Todd Light. He backs off, he makes it look soft coverage, and then he steps right up into this ball, and not a well-thrown ball either. You see there, it doesn't have a good spiral on it, so it doesn't get there as quick as it might. And then Todd Light, following up on what Anthony Parker's done for the past 2 weeks for this Rams defense, intercepting and scoring a touchdown.
The point after by Lohmiller. Third touchdown of Todd Light's career. He has now scored a touchdown 3 years in a row. Third interception of the season for Todd Light, his third career touchdown. And how about the Rams defense? 3 consecutive weeks into the end zone.
Well, the Rams defense has really picked up, but they've played aggressively on all fronts. Their linebackers and defensive line have shut down the Ravens' run game. and now we see their defensive backs affecting the pass game.
Oh, and
Wow, you talk about
Jermaine
aggression.
Lewis walloped by Cedric Figaro. Figaro, a former Cleveland Brown, 14 yards on the return.
Now back to this touchdown. Watch what Todd Light, watch the motion. Todd Light sells himself like he's playing soft, and then he breaks up right in front of this Vinny Testaverde pass. Watch it. Look at the cushion he gives, and then watch the break right here. He breaks quick, and he makes that break right in front of the ball. Vinny Testaverde with no velocity on that football.
Light into the end zone, a 26 lead for the St. Louis Rams. And Morris, good second effort. Gain of 14 on the play, which equals his first carry in the first half.
That's one thing Bam Morris does give you. He gives you some bam. Because when he comes through that line of scrimmage, you could hear it from up here. You heard the pads crack, and instead of going down in the pileup, he has the capacity, the leg strength, and the size to get through that pileup.
Derek Alexander makes the catch, escapes the light tackle, flag is thrown.
That's going to be a face mask against Todd Light. So Vinny Testaverde showing some confidence in his receiver. Ted Marchibroda showing some confidence in his quarterback.
Face mask, 15 yards, number 41 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from
the
the end of the run.
interception, they go right back towards Todd Light.
It's the same pass play that Todd Light just intercepted. And they go right back to it, and then here's the face mask. He grabs it and pulls it right there. That's where he has it, because he's going down and he hangs on to it. Probably because he saw what Derek Alexander did last week against the Denver Broncos. When they missed the tackles on the outside, Derek Alexander and Michael Jackson were outstanding.
Testaverde looking for Jackson. He was bumped by Anthony Parker. At least he felt he was bumped.
The official, I'm sure, determined that it was an incidental contact. And Anthony Parker, of course, having the right to go for that ball as well when it's up in the air. Take a look at it here. Michael Jackson at the top of the screen, and now he breaks back. And Parker, he gives him a little bit of a shove. And that's why the crowd wanted the penalty.
On 2nd and 10, Testaverde looking for Jackson again. And he overthrows his leading receiver.
Well, Vinny Testaverde may have been having his best season coming into this game, but he's not having his best game because his balls have really not been sharp. There's Don Strock, Vinny Testaverde's quarterback coach. Part of the reason why Vinny Testaverde has had the season that he's had. Part of that confidence building. Don and Ted Marchibroda trying to take pressure off Vinny, allowing him to change plays at the line of scrimmage.
Testaverde on 3rd down, a bullet over the middle. Jackson could not hang on. A flag was thrown.
And that's the second one we've seen Michael Jackson drop.
Flag in the offensive backfield holding Ravens.
The first ball Michael Jackson dropped was a tip that Keith Lyle picked
Holding.
off for the Rams.
Offense number 66. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tony Jones, the left tackle. And now Matt Stover, who missed a point after and a field goal earlier, will attempt a 50-yarder. He missed from 43, also missed an extra point.
Well, that's what you have to do. I mean, Ted Marchibroda has to keep going back to this guy because he's one of the best kickers in the business. So you keep going back to him until he gets it right.
This time Stover gets it right from 50.
Now we'll have some guests on the sideline.
His season-long 50-yard field goal. Back in Baltimore, Kenny Albert with Tim Green. 50-yard field goal by the Ravens' Matt Stover. They cut the Rams' lead to 11 points. St. Louis 20, Baltimore 9. And now Stover gets set to kick it off. Back deep, Eddie Kennison and J.T. Thomas. And they both let it go into the end zone. looking like Marquise Grissom and Jermaine Dye in the Braves outfield the other night. They both decide to let it roll into the end zone.
Yeah, and Kennison is the rookie of the two, and he's the one who makes the heads-up play. And there's Rich Brooks' frustration again. I mean, and he's saying that's my fault. When we talked about turnovers, Kenny, when Rich Brooks' team have been plus or even with the turnovers, they have been 7-0. When they've been in the minus, in other words, the other team has had more turnovers than them, 2-14, they're +2 today. So that bodes well for a Rams victory, unless they lose a couple balls.
Last week they forced 6 Jacksonville turnovers. Today 3 by the Ravens. And Lawrence Phillips is caught behind the line by Mike Caldwell, returning today after missing the last 4 weeks.
And I think what the Ravens have done defensively is they've said, look, what are the Rams doing to us to shut us down with the run game? Playing aggressively with their linebackers, having these linebackers immediately fill the hole, and Mike Caldwell does just that. He fills that hole and brings Lawrence Phillips down behind the line of scrimmage. And who's there again? Eric Turner. He seems to be everywhere where good things are happening for the Ravens defense today.
Kennison in motion, 2nd and 12, and it's Caldwell again.
Oh, that was a great somersault after he sacked him. That was great. I've never seen that. That's pure excitement. Again, aggressive play by the linebackers. If it works, keep going with it, and it works. Watch Caldwell. He comes right up through. No one blocks him, and he has the presence of mind not to go for the fake. And then watch the somersault. Watch it right here. I mean, that's great. That's pure joy. And when you sack a quarterback, you just get excited, and that was not a planned sack dance or anything like that. Just pure excitement by Mike Caldwell.
Did you do that when you sacked Montana?
No, I probably would have broken my arm trying to roll a somersault.
And now the play clock has run down to 0.
Yeah, it's another penalty against the Rams.
You think Caldwell's knee is feeling all right?
The 5-yard penalty.
Mike Caldwell underwent knee surgery. Has missed the last 4 games, and today for Caldwell 2 sacks.
Yeah.
5 sacks in all for the Ravens.
Nothing takes pain away. You know, you talk about the painkillers, anti-inflammatories. Nothing takes pain away quite as well as a big play on defense.
3rd down and 25. Green stumbles across the 5, and that is it.
Nice play by James Jones. The Ravens only blocked. They only sent 3 in the rush. Everyone was in coverage. Jones was on the nose guard, on the center, and he peels off to make that play.
The Ravens linebackers have come up big. Ed Sutter in the first half. Mike Caldwell here in the second.
Well, they had something to prove because last week against Denver, the Ravens linebackers were terrible. Today, they're outstanding.
Landetta deep in his own end zone. High kick. Jermaine Lewis, fair catch in Rams territory. 38-yard punt, excellent field position for Baltimore. Back in Baltimore, Memorial Stadium sold out, 72-degree day as the Ravens trail the St. Louis Rams 20-9. Our game summary is brought to you by Budweiser.
Well, the difference for the Rams, as it has been for the past 2 seasons, is his turnovers. Those turnovers there, 3, led to the 10 extra points. It's pretty much the difference in this football game.
And Banks with the touchdown pass to Bruce. Here's Testaverde on 1st down. Looking for Jackson, and a flag is thrown. Jeremy Lincoln on the coverage, and a flag out at the 11-yard line.
2 flags.
Two
One
flags.
behind the line of scrimmage, which is going to be a holding against the Ravens offensive line. And then a pass interference downfield that will probably offset each other.
Busy day for the officiating crew.
Antonio Goss.
Defensive pass interference on number 39. We have holding on number 69. The penalty's offset. We'll replay first down.
That's Jeff Blackshear, the replacement for Steve Everett. Here's Michael Jackson working against Jeremy Lincoln, so you'll see the pass interference on this call here, and he gets the hand hooked right around his arm there. And it's that hooked hand around Michael Jackson's arm that the official calls. But again, that's negated by a holding penalty on Jeff Blackshear.
This place would have gone crazy if Jackson had held on to the ball, and then they heard the holding call from Larry Nemers. Jackson nearly made the catch.
Well, they still should be going crazy because the holding call still prevented the Ravens from being right down there, knocking on the end zone door.
Well, once you get it, will be the end zone door.
Yeah.
Figuratively.
Now, Antonio Goss is a replacement for Carlos Jenkins. So the Rams now are getting down there in their depth chart. Because once the replacement goes, then you're down to the replacement for the replacement.
And the replacement for the replacement will be Cedric Figueroa.
But we saw him make a nice tackle on special teams earlier, so hopefully he'll bring that same vitality to the Rams defense that's played pretty well today.
Figueroa joins Roman Pfeiffer and Robert Jones. Testaverde's pass is complete. Ernest Biner dragged out of bounds by Robert Jones. Short gain on first down.
And Figueroa brought it. I mean, he brought the enthusiasm because he forced Vinny to just dump that pass off to Ernest Biner. He gave him no time at all.
Three wide receivers for the Ravens. 6:15 to go, third quarter. Testaverde dumps it off again to Biner. And Biner is across the 25. Nice move to the inside, all the way down to the 3-yard line. You want to talk about yards gained after the catch. How about Ernest Biner, a gain of 41 yards.
And Kenny, Jeff Blackshear, the right guard for the Ravens, makes up for his penalty. Watch him here. Watch him work out, and he eats up the linebacker. Watch it right here. See the block?
That's Figueroa.
Figueroa. He eats Figueroa up for dinner, knocks him down, and springs Biner on this screen pass. So Jeff Blackshear got him down there anyway. A nice block by a big man.
Testaverde for the end zone. Jackson could not hang on. Good coverage by Jeremy Lincoln.
That was nice recovery by Lincoln because Michael Jackson came off and abused him physically. He knocked him back, but Jackson, I mean, Lincoln looked like he had a magnet attached to his hips because even though he got knocked back, he recovered quickly and closed the gap, defending that pass play that otherwise would have been a touchdown.
Bam Morris, the lone back. Morris takes the handoff, touchdown!
That's what he's there for. That's why he's Bam. I don't know what that is. I like the prayer, but I didn't know about the dance. Bam-a-rama. I'll tell you what, though. Remember how earlier they had a short yardage play and they went to the right? And I said, you can't do that. You want to run to the left. You want to run behind Jonathan Ogden, that first-round draft choice, the one they selected over Lawrence Phillips. And now, of course, the Ravens are going to go for 2 points.
First touchdown of the season for Morris in his second game. And the Ravens will go for 2. Ravens 4 of 7 this year on 2-point conversion. Testaverde, Derek Alexander. He's got it.
A nice throw with touch on it. And a nice grab by Derek Alexander.
5th 2-point conversion of the season for the Ravens. And they have pulled within 3.
Well, that was all about concentration. Well, let's take a look at that touchdown again. They bammed it in, but watch Jonathan Ogden. Watch the hole here, provided for Bam Morris. He's on DeMarco Farr, and he buries him. He just flat buries DeMarco Farr. He puts him into the turf. Watch the work here by the offensive line. And there's Blackshear again, eating up another linebacker and making that one easy for Bam. Watch it here. No problem. Right through the line, right into the end zone. Bam. And then here's the two-point conversion. Remember what I said? It's concentration. Vinny lays this ball up there with some nice touch. But watch Derek Alexander bring this ball in. Watch it. Over the back of his shoulder, he adjusts to it, and right there. Look at him watch it. Look at him looking at that ball. Pulling it in, feet down. 2 points. Ravens back in this ball game.
Now the crowd is back in this ball game on their feet, cheering on the Ravens, their 4th home game here in Baltimore. 4-play drive. The key play, the 41-yarder from Testaverde to Biner. Credit Blackshear with the assist.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a new statistic. Assists.
Flags thrown all over the field on the J.T. Thomas return of 23 yards.
Keith Gogania said, hey, they were holding me. I'm the guy.
Larry Nemmers agrees.
I think they might have had a couple of them.
There were 2 holding calls during the return. One on number 53 of the return and one on number 23 of the return. We'll go 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, St. Louis.
I told you, they got him twice. They caught 2 of them, grab and hold.
Halloween 4 days early in Baltimore.
That's a scary one. What were they saying on the pregame show? Howie said the scarier your mask is, the more candy you get.
Banks with loads of time and wide open is Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce, the receiver. Donnie Brady.
Gain of 24 yards. Banks with 9 completions on the day, Tim. 6 to Bruce, 3 to Eddie Kennison.
Well, watch Isaac Bruce run free. And he's in motion, and he takes this across, and he goes all the way across the field, and nobody just picks him up. And it looks like Mike Caldwell's the guy who should be there. Mike Caldwell's so excited about getting into the backfield and sacking the quarterback, he forgets that sometimes as a linebacker in the 3-4 defense, you got to cover.
Lawrence Phillips, big gain, first down and more out to midfield.
Donnie Brady made the tackle.
Donnie Brady finally brought him down after the gain of 15.
Well, we saw Bam Morris going for the touchdown, and we looked at that Ravens offensive line, because when there's a guy working, running like that, you know there's guys blocking. Watch Bernd Brostek here. I mean, he's going against Jones, and Jones fights and scraps, but Brostek never gives up. He seals that front side of the run and allows Phillips to find that hole.
Phillips with 74 yards. His best game as a pro. Phillips again. Gain of 3 on first down. Rams lead 20-17. Excuse me, Tim.
This is absolutely by far the best the Rams have looked all season, because they're running the ball, they're throwing the ball.
Gain of 3.
Lawrence Phillips, by far his best game. Now another defensive lineman for the Ravens down, Anthony Pleasant.
They've already lost Mike Frederick with a stinger.
Yeah, he was replaced by Tim Goad.
Burnett and Footman out. Frederick and now Pleasant shake it up.
Anthony Pleasant down on the field for the Baltimore Ravens. Already a banged-up defensive line with 3 of their regulars out, Dan Footman and Rob Burnett, even before the game. Mike Frederick today with a stinger. Anthony Pleasant down now, obviously in some pain, and he had 2 sacks today. So you never want to lose a guy anyway, but certainly you don't want to lose a guy when he's having a big day to begin with.
So Pleasant to the sidelines.
Yeah, he's got something wrapped up on his leg anyway. And when you're wrapped like that, it's a groin injury. So sometimes what happens is you try to contain that injury by taping it up that way. But when it goes, and then you come limping off, and the pain is tremendous.
2nd down and 7 on the Ravens 47. Bruce in motion. Phillips bottled up. Mike Kroll, former Denver Bronco, a New York Giant, in on the stop.
You can just see Lawrence Phillips' confidence, even though he didn't get a big gain on that play. He's running the ball instinctively. He's running the ball with confidence. Look at him. I mean, he's frustrated. He's angry because he wants another big yard. He wants another big run. You'll see another big run from him today. And people are going to say after this game, this is the game Lawrence Phillips broke out.
Only the 2nd game this season. The Rams are over 100 yards rushing as a team. Phillips with 78 of those yards. Banks steps up, and the tight end Ernie Conwell makes the catch, wearing a new number this week, 84, which he acquired following the trade of Troy Drayton to the Dolphins.
I like this young guy, Ernie Conwell. I like him. You see him there. He makes a nice catch, gets the 1st down. He's thinking smart.
And he comes up limping.
Yeah, he's hobbling off the field. But what he does, remember Eric Green earlier in the game? He didn't know where he was on the field. Ernie Conwell knows where the 1st down is. He gets the depth he needs for the 1st down, and now watch him. He falls forward instead of backwards. He uses his body control very wisely, so you hate to see him limp off.
Which way do you fall in everyday life, forwards or backwards?
I always try to go forward.
And here's Lawrence Phillips going forward, down to the 32.
Do you agree? I mean, look at the way this guy's running the football. 3-4 weeks ago, you'd see Lawrence Phillips run up there into traffic and trip and stumble and fall down and lunge. But watch him now. He's under control, and he's seeing things. He's seeing the field. Watch the cutback. He sees no place to go there. I'll just cut this baby back.
And a hands to the face penalty. It's called on the Ravens, so they pick up the automatic 1st down. Phillips, 22 carries. That's a season high. 85 yards, also a season high.
The 5-yard penalty will be added to the run. Automatic 1st down.
Well, if you're a Rams fan, you have to be happy with this offense, the way it's operating, the way Tony Banks is throwing the ball, the way he's finding Isaac Bruce. He's 10 for 15. Tony Banks, 175 yards. And the way Lawrence Phillips is running it, and the offensive line is blocking it. But remember, this is a defense with a depleted defensive line that has struggled.
Phillips caught in the backfield. It was
Wow,
Caldwell.
he might have hurt him, Kenny.
Yes, Caldwell along with Elliott Fortune. And Phillips bounces up.
Caldwell looks like he hurt himself. Somebody had to get hurt out there. There was too much hitting and banging out there for somebody not to get hurt. You know, that's what it is. You want to get up there, you throw your body around, and sometimes things get broken. At least they get banged and bruised.
Broken play as well. Loss of 5 yards. Banks to his right.
Run it.
Keeps it himself.
Run it.
Oh, and he dives for the 1st down.
Oh, you can tell that Tony Banks is not accustomed to running around on an NFL field. He does a nice job trying to pick up that 1st down, but he doesn't need it because it's only 2nd down. So that's a play where Rich Brooks, I'm sure, would prefer his young quarterback to run it out of bounds. But look at the protection his line gives him. There's Goaz buying him some more time, buying him the corner, and now he just takes it. But watch it here. Watch it here. He sees that guy coming, makes a nice move to avoid the hit.
And the official spot just short of the 1st down. 3rd and inches. Phillips over the top.
If they get that, it's all Lawrence Phillips. Because the Ravens defensive front had the surge against the Rams offensive line. There was no place to go.
Well, the 3rd quarter has come to an end with the Rams hanging on. They lead the Ravens 20-17. started off shaken up. Ravens trail by 3, and during our break they did measure, and the Ravens held the Rams short of the first down, so they will try for the field goal.
So while the Ravens defense is banged up, especially up front, they've really come through today in short yardage situations. Remember, early in the game they had a big goal line stand against the Rams, and now when the Rams are putting together a good drive, running the ball and throwing the ball, Ravens defense comes up big in the 3rd and short to force the Rams to try to kick a field goal right now.
So we head to the 4th quarter with the Rams looking to extend their 3-point lead. Chip Lohmiller, 2 of 2. He has hit from 50 and 38 yards out. Lohmiller, of course, the former Washington Redskin, 2-time Pro Bowler. This will be a 34-yard attempt. And a new holder. It's Jamie Martin, not Keith Lyle. And the kick by Lohmiller is good. Officially a 36-yard field goal. So the Rams have extended their lead to 6 points.
Here's how Rich Brooks reacts to this kick. We've seen a lot of great facial expressions from him today. Yup, he said yup. Now we'll see if we get somewhat of a smile. There you go. Right in there. And then he looks down at his watch to check the timing on it. He's not happy with just the field goal. He wants to make sure they got that kickoff quick enough. Disaster hit the Rams this season thus far. Coming into this game, last ranked in offense, last ranked in defense, number 30 coming in. But today, offensively and defensively, the Rams have looked very sharp. I think the most impressive thing about their offense today, Kenny, is its balance. Running the ball and throwing the ball. They really have done everything quite well.
Jermaine Lewis from the 6-yard line. Up the middle across the 30 to the 35. Finally chased down by Torin Dorn, and flags are thrown. What else is new?
Not the flag. That's not new.
29 yards on the return. The Ravens are new this year here in Baltimore. How do you like saying the name Raven?
Face mask, 5 yards, number 41.
It's all right. I like the literary value
46.
in the name.
You certainly would. An author of 4 books.
An Edgar Allan Poe fan.
More books, more on their way.
Of course, always. And let's take a look at these quarterbacks again. Pretty even. Pretty even from yards. Vinny with another touchdown, and the Ravens really believing that with this 3-wide receiver formation and the hurry up, that Vinny has the capacity to drive down and score again.
Testaverde to the air for Biner. Ernest Biner. Another big play into Rams territory.
What another beautiful pass by Vinny Testaverde.
37 yards. Testaverde to Biner.
Watch the touch on this pass. You know, people talk about a quarterback's ball having touch. Watch this baby just float right in there. Look at it. Look at the nice high arc, the nice spiral, and he just lays that in there for Ernest Biner to catch.
37 yards. And now it's Biner on the ground. And we have told Tim the reason Jamie Martin was the holder on the last field goal attempt. The Rams have lost Keith Lyle with a concussion, so they are now missing both of their hard-hitting starting safeties, Toby Wright and Keith Lyle.
I think the Rams are about to lose Jonathan Ogden. Now remember, he hurt his knee last week. And it looks like it's the same thing that's giving him problems this week. And that's frustrating when you're a rookie and you're playing as well as this man has played. You just hate to have an injury slow you down. Here he is right here. Let's take a look at it. Comes off, makes a nice block, opens that hole up, and just twists back on it. Grabs his knee right there.
Ogden did miss one day of practice this week due to the knee injury.
The incredible thing about this guy is his athleticism. Here he is this morning, and there's the knee brace on that right knee that he just grabbed hold of. He says, "Oh, I'm going. I'm all set. I'll see you out there." And that's a great attitude to have. Not only a big, strong guy, but a tough guy. You see him there gritting his teeth. But he must have twisted that thing. He torqued it just right, and now it's a little too much.
2nd down and 4. Biner. Close to the 1st down marker. Biner over 100 combined yards on the day. Struggling on the ground, but he does have 5 receptions for 91 yards.
I thought it was interesting to hear Ted Marchibroda say that Biner does not mind the addition of Bam Morris as we see the Ravens pick up another 1st down, because at 34 no one expects Ernest Biner to be able to carry this team's run game throughout an entire season.
He is over the 500-yard mark for the season. In Game 8, only 2 running backs in the history of the NFL have rushed for 1,000 yards at or after the age of 34.
And he showed no signs of slowing down today.
Testaverde to the end zone.
What a
has the touchdown, Derek Alexander, and we are tied.
Vinny Testaverde is getting better and better and better as this game has progressed. You can't defend that. You can't defend a quarterback that can deliver a ball with that much touch on it, with that much precision on it. Watch it here. He gets some time, and look at that spiral. Look at that. Perfectly thrown ball, again, by Vinny Testaverde.
For Derek Alexander, his 6th touchdown this season. The point after by Stover is good. And the Ravens, for the first time today, have taken the lead. Baltimore 24, St. Louis 23. Here we see Mr. Poe, the aforementioned Edgar Allan Poe. Thanks to him, the nickname Raven.
A good name for a team, and I like these uniforms too. I mean, we got some Raven stuff here around town this weekend. I got some hats and some shirts and stuff like that. Kevin Byrne, the PR guy for the Ravens, hooking us up. Pretty nice stuff.
I was about to say, I hope you at least got some kind of a discount on the Ravens paraphernalia.
No, he gave it right to me. I'm going to take it home, and I think my kids will probably wear it to school.
Rashawn Adams wearing his Raven paraphernalia, and he's very happy about it.
Well, while the Baltimore Ravens have the lead for the first time today, I'm wondering how the Bird has the wing strength to hang on to this guy sitting in the cage.
Perhaps we can find that out. We'll check back with you on that one. 1st and 10 Rams from their own 21-yard line, trailing for the first time today. Kennison thought about running before he thought about catching the ball.
Yep, he let go of that ball. He lost his concentration before he went. One thing the Rams have done today with Isaac Bruce is they put him in motion. He has been in motion today more than I've seen him throughout the entire season. And sometimes when a defense starts to focus its attention on a wide receiver, especially a defense that has a lot of injuries, has a new scheme, the best thing to do is put your big guy in motion.
This time it's the tight end, Hayward Clay, in motion. And the reception is made by Clay, his first of his career. The rookie out of Texas A&M, 6th-round draft pick.
Well, when you have a defense that is inexperienced, and although obviously the Ravens have a lot of veterans out there, they're inexperienced in this 3-4 scheme. Again, what you want to do is you put guys in motion, and they are the most difficult guys to because as they cross the formation, the responsibility shifts from one linebacker to another, or one linebacker to a safety.
3rd down and 5 with Clay in motion once again. And the pass by Banks is complete. 1st down, Kennison out across the 40. All right, thanks, JB. Exciting afternoon here on Fox Sports with the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Play action pass. Banks sets, throws, complete. Isaac Bruce in Ravens territory.
The thing that Isaac Bruce does as well as anyone is make a cut. He gets the defensive back moving upfield. He comes, he stutters, and watch him come out of that. I mean, he changes direction so quickly that Antonio Langham just has absolutely no time to react to it. And then Banks does a nice job of delivering the ball on the break.
First 200-yard passing game for the Rams this season, as Lawrence Phillips is stifled at the line of scrimmage. We saw moments ago the reception by the tight end Clay. He is in for Ernie Conwell, who we are told has sprained his knee but is expected to return. So the Rams and Ravens both with a number of players banged up. And here's another, Mike Kroll, Ravens linebacker, down.
I mean, this is unbelievable. The Ravens are going to have to start going into the stands and pulling people down to play.
They've already switched from a 4-3 to a 3-4. What's next?
Phillips, don't be surprised to see him next week as one of Degree's hot rookies, along with teammate Tony Banks.
Right now, Phillips taking a breather. 2nd down and 10. And flags are thrown once again. We have already had 11 penalties in the game.
67
This is number 12, the
snap.
9th
5-yard penalty.
on St. Louis.
Yep, this one's on Dwayne White. Well, sometimes when you're that big, you'll get an offsides penalty when you have to pull, because you start to get that stuff going backwards when you got to pull it and move around that big bulky body, and sometimes you just start edging that, and it gets, you get a shift, and sometimes the shift just makes you move.
And 2nd and 15. Banks over the top. Hayward Clay, the intended receiver. So it will be 3rd and 15.
Well, Eric Turner punished him on that, but Tony Banks' offensive line gave him a nice pocket and a nice lane to throw in. And we've talked about Eric Turner all day today and his fine play. So you know, Kenny, I put a book together on him. 28 turnovers in 68 games. Now today it went to 69 and he's got 29. He's always on LA time. He keeps his watch on Pacific time, and he's ready for law school. That's where he'll be either this offseason or the coming offseason. He's a smart guy, a degree in history, and he wants to go to law school.
And it is picked off. Stephon Moore, his first interception of the season, and the 3rd St. Louis Rams turnover. But a flag was thrown. Hold everything.
Holding. Offense number 61. Penalty is declined. 1st down, Baltimore.
Now the turnovers are starting to shift against the Rams. And remember, coming in, the Rams have had success this season only when they've been on the plus side of turnovers. Now they're getting to the negative side of turnovers. It's just an outstanding play by Stephon Moore. The ball is well thrown. The receiver doesn't have a chance. Moore uses his speed and his physical ability to get in front of that ball. He's too far over the top, and he makes a beautiful defensive play.
And now on 1st down, play action, Testaverde to Brian Kitchen, the tight end, into St. Louis Rams territory.
Well, that's got to feel good for Brian Kitchen, because he's not too happy about the fact that Eric Green has stepped in, and Ted Marchibroda has made Eric Green instantly a big part of this Ravens offense. So whenever you get your hands on the ball, it's a good feeling. Vinny changing things up at the line of scrimmage. As we said, that's one thing Ted has let him do this season.
And Morris set the middle.
Wow. I got to tell you that I find this a thing of beauty. I love to see a big guy run through the line of scrimmage, run through traffic, and get that momentum going. Watch Bam Morris here. Watch him run right through Kevin Carter's tackle. Look at all that traffic. You can't tell who's who or what's what. All you know is Bam Morris is on the move.
Was it instant replay or another play? Bam Morris again up the middle.
It was another one, and there he goes again. You know, he reminds me the way he's running of Craig Ironhead Haywood when he was with the New Orleans Saints, and then of course now with the Atlanta Falcons. The way you get a big-bodied guy moving up through the line of scrimmage. Morris today, 5 carries for 46 yards, almost 10 yards a carry, one of them for a touchdown.
And more flags, but this one looks to be on the Ravens.
False start, offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Herman Harvey forces the Ravens back 5 yards.
So the Ravens are not only banged up on their defensive front, they're banged up on their offensive front.
First and 15 at the 30.
Penalty-filled game. Rams led at halftime 13-6. Big second half for Baltimore. Looking for more. Derek Alexander, the intended receiver. Once again, it was Jeremy Lincoln on the coverage for St. Louis. And Lincoln looks to be shaken up.
Well, that was some more nice coverage by Jeremy Lincoln. Because there's no place for this ball to get completed. Lincoln is right in there with it, and then he lands on his head. He lands on his head on the turf, and again, that's where you get a neck or you get a stinger.
Lincoln, the former Chicago Bear, in his first year with the Rams.
Now, if Lincoln stays out, Kenny, the Rams secondary is in big-time trouble because the Ravens are in a 3 wide receiver formation, and they're already missing starting safeties Toby Wright, the starting safety Keith Lyle, and Lincoln's their guy. Watch it right here. He hits his head. You see his head bounce off the turf like that? And that's where he does it. And if they lose him, they lose a cover guy in that nickel defense that you have to play against 3 wide receivers. You know, sometimes it doesn't look like much. It doesn't look like a whiplash or an incredible impact, but when you fall on that head or when somebody falls on your head for you, it pinches that nerve just right. And it scares you, you know, because sometimes that happens, and if you get that stinger and your body goes numb or half your body goes numb, you don't know. You don't know if you've broken your neck or if it's a stinger.
Lincoln slowly walks off to the Rams sidelines.
One thing I believe the Ravens should do right now is go after whoever replaces Jeremy Lincoln out on that corner position.
And it is Herman O'Berry, 7th round draft pick a year ago, selected with the pick acquired for Jim Everett. And he was activated just last week.
Well, it would surprise me if Vinny Testaverde doesn't go right at number 42.
O'Berry played for Coach Rich Brooks at Oregon.
I mean, that's a tough feeling. There you are. You come into the game unexpected, and you're out in space. I mean, O'Berry's going to be split out there, and there's going to be no one around him to help him. It's just going to be him and Derek Alexander.
Anthony Parker has shifted over to safety with O'Berry at the right corner. Testaverde to the far side. Ernest Biner. So it will be 3rd down and long for the Ravens.
So O'Berry gets a reprieve on his first play.
And the Ravens once again going with the sugar huddle. quickly back up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 11. Ravens leading by 1. Testaverde has hit 6 of his last 8 pass attempts.
There he goes, Adam.
Floyd Turner makes the catch for the 1st down. That time they picked on Parker.
I thought Vinny Testaverde was going to throw to Derek Alexander because Alexander's on O'Berry. Watch him get open here. Look at this. I mean, you can't get more open than that. Look at, I mean, he leaves O'Berry down on the turf. He is wide open, and Vinny missed a touchdown throw on that. Now, he still got the 1st down and the completion to Floyd Turner, but as I said, you want to go after O'Berry. He's young and he's fresh out there, and it's a tough feeling.
Bam Morris.
Unbelievable. Look at that.
His 2nd touchdown today.
Has this guy found a home or what? I mean, the Rams defense looks like a bunch of kids trying to stop a bus. Look at Art Modell's getting a little congratulations from one of the guys in his box. Hey, nice move bringing this guy here. Watch him. Watch him. I mean, they get their hands on him. They just don't stop him. Look at that. One hand on him. Todd Light, another guy running into him. Torrin Dorn, Roman Pfeiffer. Like kids bouncing off a big Greyhound bus.
Matt Stover for the point after, and the Rams have allowed 25 Raven points in this 2nd half. Baltimore Ravens 31. St. Louis Rams 23. 6.5 to go. Over the last 18 minutes, the Ravens have outscored the Rams 25-3 as they have got ahead by 8. Here's J.T. Thomas from his own 4-yard line. Flash thrown once again. Benny Thompson on the tackle.
Larry Nemmers, the referees, had a busy day today. He's going to have to drink some hot tea and lemon.
81 during the return. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down, St. Louis.
The Rams are wearing the referee's voice out.
He deserves overtime.
Back
Penalty
to the
called
touchdown.
on Hayward Clay.
Kenny, watch the blocking by Jeff Blackshear and Herman Harvey. I mean, they are helping Bam Morris substantially. Watch that there, right there. Look at that block there. There's one there, and there's another there. How about that blocking? And then Bam Morris does the rest, just blowing through the Rams defenders. So Blackshear's got 2 assists. 2 assists on touchdowns for Jeff Blackshear. And now St. Louis has got to go to the air, and Tony Banks has got to find Kennison and Bruce and just work this ball downfield. So this is another test. Banks looks solid all day long throwing the ball. Phillips is running it, but here's the test. You're behind. You got to work this offense downfield quickly.
2nd down and 1.
Oh,
Jermaine Ross is clobbered.
Wow.
Ray Lewis, the rookie from Miami.
Good for Jermaine Ross. Look at him get up. I mean, he just got up and walked right back. That's called going over the middle. Everybody talks about receivers going over the middle. Well, this is it on this play here. Watch Jermaine Ross come in from the side. There's Lewis right there. Watch the hit he puts on it. Right there. Wham! Right under the chin. That's a knockout punch. Didn't knock him out.
On 3rd and 1, Banks
Nice
keeps
effort.
it for the 1st down.
Nice run, nice surge. That's the first short yardage situation where we've seen the Rams offensive line win the battle up front and get a surge on the Ravens defense.
Now the Rams to the hurry-up offense. 3 wide receivers. And Banks looking for Bruce. Eric Turner on the coverage for Baltimore.
There's the man again. Again, 29 turnovers he has affected in 69 football games. That is nothing short of incredible. You talk about an impact guy. That's an impact. Because a turnover, one way or the other, can win or lose a football game. Eric Turner having a turnover almost every other game throughout his career.
Second down and 10, 5.5 remaining. Banks out of the shotgun, going far side, and it's Isaac Bruce across the 40, his 8th reception, and it's good for 15 yards.
Well, this is all Isaac Bruce. Nice move, nice catch. But watch the blitz pick up by the Rams. Watch it here. Harold Green right there. He picks up the blitz coming from the outside. It gives Banks the time, and when you have time, Isaac Bruce will get open.
Banks swings it out to Harold Green. And he and Lewis come together, helmet to helmet. Ray Lewis.
I mean, Ray Lewis is dangerous. He's only a rookie out there. First-round draft choice. AFC Defensive Player of the Week in his first week in the NFL. And he is a dangerous guy. I mean, he's just throwing his body around out there head first.
Second down and 7. Banks to Bruce. Once again, breaks free. Only Turner to beat. Isaac Bruce is stopped
nice
just
save
short.
by Turner.
Did
Nice save.
Did Bruce think
Yes,
about
he
latering
did.
the ball back?
He either thought about lateraling it or he thought he was already into the end zone because he stopped running for it. You never stop in a foot race. You never look back. Now, it's a great job of getting open. He just burns the pants off of Isaac Booth, 36 there.
And now watch Isaac.
Yeah, watch the move. Look at that move. He dipped there and broke to the outside. But watch him look back. He looks back there. Yeah, he was going to pitch it to Eddie Kennison. And when he looked back, it enabled Eric Turner to catch him. Now the Ravens need another goal line stand from their defense.
The Rams called timeout following the 55-yard pass play from Banks to Bruce. And for Isaac Bruce, a career best 213 yards on the day. Tim, the show that's become a national phenomenon has moved to Sunday nights. And if you're not already a fan, this is the perfect time to get hooked. Don't miss one of the most thrilling X-Files yet. Tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
You know, I told you I liked that show, and I really meant it. It reminds me of Kolchak, the Night Stalker, when I was a kid. And there you see Isaac Bruce catching his breath. Whenever you run that far on a football field, it's all out. What a big day for him today. 9 catches, 217 yards, 1 touchdown. Had he not looked back to pitch the ball, I believe he would have made it into the end zone again. But an outstanding day, either way, for this man.
Yes, what a game for Isaac Bruce.
And you have to credit Tony Banks. He told us yesterday, I am going to find Isaac Bruce. And you have to credit Rich Brooks for forcing him to think that way.
First and goal on the 2. Lawrence Phillips is stopped short. Picked up perhaps 1 yard. Remember, early in the first quarter, they went to Phillips 4 consecutive plays. First and goal, second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal. 3 yards on the first down and then nothing the rest of the way.
And when you get into that situation, it's almost a time where you'd expect Rich Brooks to have Tony Banks roll out on some kind of a bootleg to give him an option to throw or to run. But it's not working straight up the gut, and they're going to stop going there. They're going to put this ball in the air.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Banks, and it's broken up.
Well, that was a nice play. Isaac Booth may have been burned on that long pass to Isaac Bruce before, but he comes back down here on the goal line.
You really have to stop and think about it. It's Isaac Bruce and Isaac Booth.
Yeah, Isaac and Isaac. And then coming up after this,
Jimmy and Jerry.
It's Jimmy and Jerry.
No confusion there.
No.
Third and goal.
They're going to try to throw this baby again.
Nope.
No.
On the ground, Harold Green is in for the touchdown, and the question now is, do the Rams go for 2 and the tie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You go for 2 in the tie, and it's a nice play call by Rich Brooks because the run wasn't working. The Ravens defense stuffed them in the first series. They stuffed them on the first play, so now you go to the draw. You make it look like a pass. You come out with 3 wide receivers in a passing formation with 1 lone back, and you run the draw, and it was a nice job up front by the Rams offensive line. They ran the trap draw.
2-point lead for the Ravens. Rams 1-for-1 this year on 2-point conversions. They look to tie the game. And Banks is taken down, but a flag is thrown. A flag in the end zone.
And I think it's against the Ravens. I think it's going to be defensive, either holding or pass interference.
Yes, it is on Baltimore.
Yeah. I think somebody had their hands on Isaac Bruce. What happens as a defensive back is you get nervous when that quarterback stays up.
On the defense, number 24. We'll go half the distance to the goal line and retry.
That's Donnie Brady. And he's a big, lanky guy, 6'2", big for a cornerback, not a quick, shifty guy. And sometimes when the quarterback stays up and your receiver starts shifting around, you grab hold.
So the Rams gain a yard from the 1. Harold Green.
Oh, nice run. The Rams,
in.
Yeah, they ran the same play they ran for the touchdown back to the other side. The trap draw.
The Rams have tied the score at 31. Wild second half here in Baltimore. 3:07 to play, and we are dead even.
What an outstanding effort by Harold Green. Now watch, they ran the draw this way the first time. They're running the trap. Watch the trap block. Dwayne White just crumbles Stephon Moore, and then it's Harold Green with the twist, the turn, up over the top, up over Thompson. Watch it here. There's the draw, there's the trap, and a nice twist and turn. Nice effort by Harold Green to tie this ball game up. Once again, there's White with the block and Green with the second effort. Look at that. That's just refusing to quit.
The play of the drive, Tim, the 55-yard pass play from Tony Banks to Isaac Bruce. And the Rams have tied the score, 10-play, 87-yard drive.
So the young rookie quarterback for the Rams in Tony Banks has absolutely broken out. Because what a challenge to move a struggling offense all the whole distance of the field to come from behind with that long pass to Isaac Bruce.
But now it's up to the Rams defense, which is missing 4 starters. Antonio Goss with a torn tendon and Keith Lyle a concussion. Both gone out with injuries here today. Already missing Toby Wright and Carlos Jenkins. Here's Jermaine Lewis on the return to the 32, and another flag is thrown. 24 yards on the return by Lewis.
Here's Larry Nemmers again. His voice is going to get worn out.
Holding call on the Ravens.
Holding during the return on number 64. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Baltimore.
Well, if you're a Rams fan or a Ravens fan, you got to be on the edge of your seat now, because with the tie score, you have to look back and realize that in the last 4 possessions, the Ravens have driven down and scored each of those last 4 times. So the charge is to this Rams defense, and as you said, they're down a couple starters, most particularly their starting safeties in Toby Wright and Keith Lyle.
Jeremy Lincoln back in at the right corner. He went out on the last drive. Testaverde looking for Jackson. It was Lincoln on the coverage. No flags this time.
And it was outstanding coverage again by Jeremy Lincoln. Just absolutely outstanding coverage, because he's running with Michael Jackson all the way.
Coming up next on our Fox NFL doubleheader, the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Jimmy Johnson against the Dallas Cowboys for the first time. Game will not be seen in Baltimore due to National Football League restrictions. 2nd and 10. Testaverde dumps it off to Bam Morris. Looks to hurdle Lincoln. And it's stopped after a short gain, so it will be 3rd and about 7 for the Ravens.
I think Cedric Figueroa actually tripped Morris on that last play. So sometimes when you can't take the big guy down by coming at him full force, that's what you do. You nick his ankles.
Ryan Kinson makes the catch, but is pulled down by Robert Jones about 2 yards shy of the marker.
Vinny's hot about something. You certainly can't go for it in this situation. You've got to punt. But I'm sure that he's saying, let's put this in the offense's hands rather than taking a chance with our defense.
And we reached the 2-minute warning here in Baltimore. All tied up at 31. A concerned Baltimore Ravens sideline as they will punt it away. 2 minutes to go. We are tied at 31. Rams with 2 timeouts remaining. Eddie Kennison back deep, awaiting the Greg Montgomery punt. Kennison calls for the fair catch at the 24. 1:53 to go. Tied at 31. And now it will be Tony Banks' turn to try and lead the Rams downfield after the Ravens were stopped on their drive.
We'll see if Tony Banks is going to take the chance to drive the Rams down and do it again.
Under 2 minutes to go, tie score. Here's Banks under pressure, and that is sack number 6 for the Ravens.
Well, Tony Banks has been sacked more per pass attempt than any quarterback in the league, and the Ravens taking advantage of that right now. Gerald Williams comes from the left side to do the job.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Banks sidearm. Has the completion out near the 25-yard line to Isaac Bruce. That is his 10th reception of the afternoon. And the Rams call timeout. St. Louis with 1 timeout remaining. And they are underway in Miami. The Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. Jimmy Johnson against the Cowboys. And I'm sure he has been waiting for this one ever since the schedule maker assigned the date, October 27th. No score, first quarter.
Well, that's certainly
Fox.
an important game for both of those teams, and this is an important game for both of these teams. Because at 2-5, you still have hopes alive. You still look at the upcoming games in your schedule and you think, all right, if we can win the next 3, we're 500 going into the stretch, and the playoffs are still within our grasp.
And Tim, it was the Ravens who called timeout, so each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Remember, Matt Stover missed a field goal and an extra point earlier.
Sure. And so if the Ravens lose, he is a big-time GOAT, and that's the price you pay as a kicker in the National Football League. You get the glory if you make the last-second kick to win, but if you miss one during the game and you lose, you're the GOAT.
3rd down and 9. And the Rams have the first down. J.T. Thomas makes the catch near the 40. Or I should say near the 35, but it is enough for the first down.
Tony Banks is keeping his cool, but his offensive line is allowing him to do that. His offensive line is allowing him to sit in the pocket and wait for his receivers to get open.
Banks swings it out to Harold Green, racing for the sidelines. Rams need about 25 yards to get into field goal territory for Lohmiller. He hit from 50 earlier. And right now, the line of scrimmage, their own 41.
This is a difficult predicament for the Ravens defense to be in, because you're in your prevent defense. You know the ball is going to go up in the air. So a prevent defense is inherently soft. But you can't be too soft, because Lohmiller's sitting there on the sideline ready to kick a long one and win this game.
Banks' first career 300-yard game. Thanks in large part to Isaac Bruce. And flags are thrown.
Flag on the field. Motion, St. Louis.
False start. Number 80, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
In case you're wondering why this game has taken so long, now 3 hours, 15 minutes. There's the reason.
Well, that and injuries. I mean, we've had 19 penalties, and we've had numerous injuries, each of which stops the game.
51 seconds on the clock. Ravens 31, Rams 31. Rams led by 7 at the half. Vinny Testaverde can only watch. Second down and 9. Banks from the shotgun with 3 wide receivers. Banks scrambling left. He fumbles the football, and the Ravens have recovered.
Unbelievable. Rich Brooks has got to be wondering what he's going to do with Tony Banks, because as well as Tony Banks has played today, and he's played well, a 300-yard day, delivering nice balls, marshaling that offense downfield. He's fumbled it. This is the 3rd time he's put it on the ground today. And he's got one hand on it, and he just flat can't hang on to that football.
It's recovered by St. Louis native Deron Jenkins.
And it's Gerald Williams who strips it, and it's not a horrific hit that he puts on Banks. Earlier we saw a helmet come right up underneath Banks' hands. That'll force a fumble on anybody, but this one will force it only on a guy who's having problems hanging on to the football.
Testaverde off the fingertips of Biner. Testaverde was pressured by Cedric Figueroa, and Matt Stover getting ready on the sidelines. And how about Tony Banks? The best of times, the worst of times today.
That's certainly incredible anxiety for that young man. He's confident. He was having his breakout day today, leading the offense back down again. But that problem with his hands is plaguing him.
Testaverde over the middle, wide open, Floyd Turner. 27-yard gain. Clock continues to run. 20 seconds remaining.
Floyd Turner has chewed this Rams defense up from the inside out. Once again, finding the hole in the zone, the soft spot in the zone, and coming up with the big play. Vinny Testaverde with time, protection, a throwing lane, and a receiver that knows how to find the soft spots in the Rams secondary.
Ravens will not run another play. They call timeout. It's all in the hands or the feet of Matt Stover. Floyd Turner, 5 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown, and now it will be Matt Stover's game to win for Baltimore. Game 2 coming up, Cowboys and the Dolphins. Except here in Baltimore. Stover hit from 50 earlier, also missed from 43 and missed an extra point.
Well, it's a good thing Ted Marchibroda allowed Stover to get his head back on straight.
Now Rich Brooks wants a timeout.
Going to try to ice him, but they're not doing it. Nobody sees it.
From 32 yards. No good! It is no good! And we are headed for sudden death overtime. Matt Stover misses
and toss the coin at midfield immediately.
Well, that 50-yarder didn't get his head back on, which is surprising. A field goal kicker of this quality, usually if he misses an extra point and then he misses a field goal and you think he's going into a slide, a 50-yarder usually turns him right around. A normal chip shot. Let's look at the snap, the hold. Everything is right except the kick.
As we mentioned earlier, Matt Stover, second to only the Chargers' John Carney in terms of all-time field goal percentage.
We'll play what amounts to a fourth quarter until the first team scores. St. Louis, you're the visiting team. Who's going to call the coin? Call the coin in the air, please.
Did they call heads or tails?
St. Louis won the toss and wants to receive.
So a reprieve for Tony Banks.
Back in sudden death overtime, the Rams and the Ravens tied up at 31. Rich Brooks giving some last-minute words of advice to his rookie quarterback, Tony Banks. I bet you it was basically hang on to that football.
Whatever you do. And Stover's kickoff taken by J.T. Thomas on the goal line. And Thomas out to the 17. For the St. Louis Rams, their second overtime game of the season. They were defeated week 4 in Arizona on a field goal, 31-28. And for the Ravens, their first appearance in sudden death this season.
Have a young offense with 5 rookie starters, a rookie at quarterback, a struggling offensive line. This Ravens defense is the one you want to go against because they are so banged up and depleted. They're not even running their regular defense, a 4-3. They're in a 3-4, and they have injuries up and down the line.
1st and 10 from the 17. Banks rolling right. And it's, let's see if it's out of bounds. Eddie Kennison. Yes, he was not in bounds, so it will be 2nd and 10, and Kennison is shaken up. Eddie Kennison still on all fours as the Rams training staff makes their way across the field.
Tapping his left leg there. Certainly not a good sign for the Rams and Rich Brooks. Kennison, obviously the other part of that dual threat wide receiver combination, himself and Isaac Bruce. Doesn't look too bad though, Kenny.
Remember, coming up, game 2 of our Fox doubleheader, the Cowboys and the Dolphins next from Miami, if this one ever ends.
Well, it's got to end because overtime can only go 15 minutes, 14:44 left. Of course, the first team to score wins. That's the sudden death element of it. And Dallas, we're told, is now up 3-0 against Jimmy Johnson's Miami Dolphins.
Fans certainly getting their money's worth this afternoon. Ravens 31, Rams 31.
2nd and 10 with the 17.
In overtime from Baltimore. 2nd down and 10. Harold Green takes the handoff and scampers out across the 25.
Ron Pickett stripping up.
Harold Green has run the ball well today in passing situations. We've talked about it all game long. When he's in, you expect to pass, and Rich Brooks has run the ball very well with Harold Green in there in that passing formation. The last time he did it down on the goal line for a touchdown and then a 2-point conversion.
Oh, what a hit by Eric Turner on J.T. Thomas. But it is good for a Rams first down.
You really have to admire the courage of these Rams receivers. Taking those kind of shots, still going across the middle, and just getting right up. I mean, watch Turner right here. Watch the hit he puts on Thomas. Wham! Knocks him right off his feet. The first thing that hits is the back of Thomas's jersey, and he walks off. Maybe he went to the sideline, but he still walked off.
On 1st First down, Lawrence Phillips. No gain.
Kenny, even though Lawrence Phillips has carried the ball 27 times and he's having a big day, 12 of those 27 times have been for 1 yard or less. On that last play there, you saw he just had no place to go. So his offensive line is either giving him no hole or they're giving him a little bit of a hole and he's making something out of it.
He lost one, 2nd and 11. Bruce in motion. Banks rolling right. Decides to keep it. How about the reprieve given Tony Banks, who fumbled with under 3 minutes to go. Ravens took over, and then Matt Stover missed the field goal.
Well, Tony Banks looking on this play for Isaac Bruce. Again, in motion. Who's on him? Eric Turner. We've talked all day about the value of Eric Turner. Watch him staying with Isaac Bruce, not enabling Bruce. And Bruce looks like he pulled something on that play there. Bruce looks like he came up short with a hamstring.
He's been taken out. Jermaine Ross, I should say, who came in for Isaac Bruce, makes the catch. Tackle was made by Isaac Booth, and there is Isaac Bruce stretching it out on the Rams sideline.
Well, he has run so far today that a lot of times that's what will happen. You'll get a cramp, and when you get a cramp, you're susceptible to a slight pull. Isaac Bruce has got over 200 yards in the air today. A lot of that running after the catch right there. 221 yards. That's a long way to run for a wide receiver. Not to mention all the patterns he runs where they don't add
up. Phillips. Once again, short gain, if any.
Yeah, nice aggressive play by this Ravens defense. And really, it's their linebackers. Their linebackers, when they've played the run well, it's because their linebackers have been right there in the play, flowing. Ray Lewis right in the middle of it. Last week, they overran a lot of plays. Right there. Mike Caldwell filling right into the hole.
4 minutes gone in overtime.
What a move.
First down and more. Tony Banks lowering the shoulder and sliding down to the 41 in Ravens territory.
Did you see the way Tony Banks protected that football when he pulled it in and made the decision to run with it? Watch him here. Look at this. 2 hands on that baby. 2 hands tight. And then he tucks it up in there. He will not let go of that ball with either one of those hands.
There was no way he was giving that up.
No, he had that baby squeezed in a vice. How about the running ability of Tony Banks?
Isaac Bruce remains out. The handoff goes to Phillips. Gains 3 yards, so Rams getting closer to Chip Lohmiller's range. Lohmiller hit from 50 earlier. Now the Rams on the 38-yard line.
And now Isaac Bruce coming back into the game for the Rams.
Jermaine Ross heads out. 2nd down and 7.
Isaac Bruce has probably run more today than any other game in his career, in motion and in pattern.
Now the pass from Banks to Bruce down at the 30. 11th reception of the season, which ties his season high. And a first down for the Rams.
I think it's smart game planning by Rich Brooks, what he's done with Isaac Bruce today. Watch it, going all the way across the formation. You see the adjustment there, forcing the defense to adjust to him, hitting the ball on the count, on the snap, and finding the hole in the zone. Again, it's Mike Caldwell, the linebacker that's given the Rams so much trouble in their backfield, who comes up short on the coverage.
He's a gamer, came in, made the catch, now heads back out.
And he's got that limp. He has run so far today, not only because, again, of the patterns that he's run and the catches and the run after the catch, but the motion. He's been in motion almost every play today.
Right now the ball on the 30, which would be a 47-yard field goal.
That's
first down.
Well within Chip Lohmiller's range.
Harold Green, and a flag is thrown. Not what the Rams need.
If that's holding, which it is against the Rams, it's brutal. Because you're already in field goal range.
Holding. 81 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Tight end Hayward Clay once again.
And this penalty just takes them out of field goal range. So they just went from being a kick away from sealing this game up to a penalty away from possibly letting the momentum shift back to the Baltimore Ravens.
th Rams penalty. So now 1st and 20 from the 40. 3 wide receivers set. The handoff goes to Green. Looks to spin away, but could not. Short gain on the play. Tied at 31 in the first overtime NFL game in Baltimore since September of '83, when the Colts defeated the Bears 13 years ago. The Rams have held on to the football for the entire overtime session. A 7-minute drive so far. From the 37, Banks to the air, to the far side, and Kennison could not hang on. Good coverage from Donnie Brady.
It's all Donnie Brady. Absolutely outstanding coverage by Brady. Kennison makes the break. Brady breaks with him, comes up, knocks this ball down. Watch it here. Physical on the line, trying to get a jam on Kennison. Affects his pattern. Now watch Kennison. Comes back. Watch Brady recover. Look at this. Recovery. Recovery. He's on his back. Could have been a flag on Donnie Brady.
3rd down and 17. The Rams need yardage for Lohmiller. Banks over the top. Harold Green inside the 30, across the 25, inside the 20.
What a great effort.
Oh, what a big play from Banks to Green.
How about the size of this guy's heart? Remember him on the 2-point conversion, putting this thing into overtime? It was second effort that did it then. It's second effort that puts Lohmiller into field goal range now. Watch the tackles he breaks. Makes Eric Turner miss. Makes Isaac Booth miss. Stevan Moore misses. They try to drag him down, and it takes 3 to do it with Harold Green.
19-yard gain. First down on the Ravens 18. Phillips to the outside, down to the 16.
I tell you, with the fumbling problems that Tony Banks has had, even on the exchange earlier, and with the rookie backfield, I'd be tempted, if I was Rich Brooks, to just line up with Lohmiller and kick it right now.
Dallas now on top of Miami 6-0. Here in Baltimore, we are in overtime. Banks to the 15.
I mean, really, if they're going to kick it.
Here comes Lohmiller.
There's no sense in doing what they're doing, because if you're going to just run these safe plays, a quarterback sneak, a safe handoff to protect that ball, you're only going to get a couple of yards anyway. You might as well line up and kick that baby.
This drive has already consumed 15 plays, 9 minutes of overtime. Lohmiller 3 for 3, not working with his usual holder, Keith Lyle. This is Jamie Martin, who will spot it down, a 33-yard attempt. This is for the victory. And the Ravens call timeout. They will try and ice Chip Lohmiller. Back for the game-winning field goal attempt in a moment. They're looking to make it 9 career game-winning field goals.
Well, if he makes it, he's the hero. Matt Stover, the kicker for the Ravens, is the GOAT. So one kicker is going to have a lot of friends in the locker room. The other one is going to have a lot of silence.
Rams 0-3 on the road. They visit Pittsburgh next week. Ravens will host Cincinnati next Sunday. Matt Stover has missed 2 field goals, including one. And as time expired in the 4th quarter. 33-yard attempt for Lohmiller.
He fumbled it.
Can you believe this? Jamie Martin, not the usual holder, could not handle the snap. But it was only 3rd down. It was only 3rd down, so the Rams.
But who's got the ball?
Succeeded. The Ravens recovered the ball.
They've got the ball.
If the Rams had recovered, they would have another opportunity.
Unbelievable. The story for the Rams has been turnovers this season. The 2 games they've won are the 2 games they've been in the plus category of turnovers. The 5 they've lost, they've been in the minus category in turnovers. Here's the snap. Watch Jamie Martin. The snap is to his right. So the snap really was not there. He had to come back across his body to try to pull that down, and he didn't. And look at Ted Marchibroda. We've looked at Rich Brooks' reaction to a lot of Rams breaks today. This breaks for the Ravens.
So now for the first time in overtime, it's Ravens football as Brian Kinchin makes the catch. Keith Lyle went out with a concussion earlier, so Jamie Martin, not the regular Rams holder, could not control the snap. So Stover missed the 32-yard field goal as time expired in the 4th quarter. And now the Rams with an opportunity from 33 yards out. Martin explaining to Lohmiller. Now the snap hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah, the snap was bad.
And the Rams have had trouble with their deep snap man this year. Floyd Turner with the first down.
And we talked about Harold Green for the Rams' second effort. Floyd Turner had a nice effort on that. He took some punishment from Jeremy Lincoln, but he kept twisting and turning to get that first down.
Only 4:45 to go. Remember, if we are tied at the end of this 15-minute period, the game would end in a tie, which we do not see very often in the NFL. Testaverde's pass complete. Big yardage. Derek Alexander in Rams territory.
That is so tough to defend. And Derek Alexander is running his pass patterns with so much more precision this year that Vinny Testaverde has a newfound confidence in him. And you can tell on a play like that, when the receiver makes the break and the ball is there, that the quarterback has confidence in the precision of the pattern.
27-yard gain. Ernest Kleiner takes the handoff. Down to the 40 with under 4 minutes remaining in overtime. Rams 31, Ravens 31. Each team with a chance to win.
A nice little change up there by Ted Marchibroda with the run play, just to give the Rams defense something extra to think about, because they're getting close to field goal range. And you don't want them to depend solely on playing pass defense. You want to make them at least hesitate about the run.
Testaverde fires a bullet. Turner could not hang on. He was wide open and juggled and dropped the football.
With Floyd Turner, it's like going back to a lucky fishing hole for him. He found his lucky spot on this field in this Rams defense. It's right in the center in front of the deep free safety. This time he finds it again, but he comes away. The thing gets off the line. He had it on its hook. It got off the line.
Both quarterbacks well over the 300-yard mark here today. Testaverde in trouble, and he throws a bounce pass to Alexander. So it's now 4th and 5 on the Rams 40.
And that was Roman Pfeiffer who came and knocked Testaverde and forced him to throw that ball low and early. It's 4th down. Vinny's got to take a crack at it.
If the Ravens do not get enough for the first down, the Rams would take over an excellent field position. 4th and 5 from the 40. Testaverde in trouble, and he fumbles.
Either way, it's the Rams' ball.
It is Rams football at midfield.
Yeah. Whether they got the fumble or not, it was 4th down, so the Rams had it. They brought the pressure. Gutsy call by Willie Shaw, the Rams defensive coordinator. Gutsy because he chooses the pressure over the coverage. And his cornerbacks do a nice job of not allowing Testaverde to find a receiver. He brings the linebacker once again. And the Rams D-line comes through, and now it's Rich Brooks' turn for a smile and a celebration on the sideline. What a back-and-forth game. There's Willie Shaw right there, the Rams defensive coordinator, making those gutsy blitz calls when the game's on the line.
Pass complete. Hayward play gains 3 yards. Wild 4th quarter and overtime here in Baltimore. Remember, Banks fumbled in the closing minutes of regulation. Stover missed a field goal, then in overtime. Banks drives the Rams downfield. Bad snap. Ravens with the opportunity. They can't score.
You know, if this game ends in a tie, you almost have to think that it's almost deserved. I mean, each team has squandered the ability, snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory several times today.
Neither team had trouble scoring in regulation. Phillips dropped for another loss. Ray Lewis, once again, he's been going hard for 5 quarters. Remember, Dallas and Miami coming up next. They could be at halftime by the time this one ends. It's 7-6 Dolphins, we are told, from Pro Player Stadium in Miami. 3rd down and 9. The Ravens 48. And we have hit the 2-minute warning of overtime. A very unique situation here, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, how long do we get on the 2-minute overtime? The 2-minute warning in overtime. Is it regular? Is it the 40 seconds? Is it the minute? And I think Vinny Testaverde has given the Ravens that same feeling. And maybe Tony Banks is starting to give his team that feeling as well. Because when you're down and things go against you, if you have a quarterback that can deliver the ball deep downfield, as Testaverde has done today, and as Tony Banks has done today, you always feel like you're in the football game.
With 2 minutes to go, and the score tied, the last tie game in the NFL back on November 10th, 1989. The Cleveland Browns, remember them? And the Kansas City Chiefs, a 10-10 tie. And we are told in that game, Nick Lowry missed 2 field goals, one of the all-time greats. Here today, we've seen Stover miss 2. Time of possession, Tim, St. Louis over 44 minutes. Baltimore at 28.
Coming into this game, of course, St. Louis offense last in the National Football League in time of possession, putting a tremendous amount of stress on that Rams defense. Today they held the ball, they drived it, they drove it, and they scored.
3rd down and 9. 2 minutes to go in overtime. Jermaine Ross in motion. Flag on the play. There was movement, and Banks is clobbered.
Wow,
Donnie Brady. But a flag was thrown.
I think that one's going to be against the Ravens.
Defense, offside, number 91, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Elliott Fortune is the guy who gets this penalty and gives Tony Banks another shot at it. You're going to see him right here. He jumps. 2 guys jump. He's the guy they call, and then watch this hit that Brady puts on Banks. Wham!
So
that's a whiplash.
Instead of 3rd and 9, it's now 3rd and 4. On the 43. to Harold Green. Fights his way towards the 40, but not enough for the first down. It will be 4th and 1. 4th down and 1 upcoming for the Rams.
So if the Rams don't get this, once again, like Miami, the Ravens have a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, having his finest year, whom they believe can certainly drive down with his big receivers and get into scoring position or get a score.
And Banks forced to call time. Only 2 seconds remain on the play clock.
Well, the Ravens certainly have won the short yardage battle so far today, having one goal line stand and then a big 3rd down stand earlier in the game, forcing the Rams to kick a field goal. But the Rams won the last one, running Harold Green on the trap draw down near the end zone to score, and then running the same play to the other side of the field for the 2-point conversion to tie this game.
Matt Stover, who had the opportunity to win it 14 minutes of game time ago. Were you ever involved in a tie game in either college or the NFL?
One time in the National Football League, my rookie year, we tied the San Francisco 49ers. Went through the entire game, and then overtime, and it ended in a tie.
What does it feel like when the game ends?
Like kissing your sister.
Banks rolling left on 4th and 1. Incomplete. Ravens will take over with 1:05 on the clock.
The last place Tony Banks wanted to run was to his left. That's where he has problems, running to his left and throwing the football. Watch it here. He's going to roll, and when he rolls this way, Rich Brooks has said he wants him to run. Well, Rich Brooks is the guy who had him run that way. He had him run that way and throw against the grain of his arm, which is something that Tony Banks has struggled with. So why you call that particular play, I can't really say.
1 timeout remaining for both the Rams and the Ravens. 1:05 to go in overtime, and now flags. Both sides pointing towards the other.
False start, offense, number 88 prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
22nd penalty of the afternoon, but that's spread out to him over 5 quarters, not 4.
Yeah, well, still, I mean, the amount of penalties in this game is enough to make you nauseous.
Now the Ravens from their own 35-yard line. Testaverde in trouble, throws it up, and Jackson makes the catch. Michael Jackson using his 6'4" height to his advantage.
Remember earlier in the game, Vinny Testaverde did the same thing. He saw Michael Jackson in the midst of coverage, and he threw the ball up high to a high point that a 6'4" receiver can out-jump a shorter defender and pull it in.
From the Rams 42, over the middle to Kitchen.
Now Stover looks like he may have another chance.
Could he go from goat to hero? Michael Jackson down to the 22.
Stover's going to have a shot at it.
30 seconds remaining.
Boy, if you're Ted Marchibroda, I think you want to shoot for the end zone. With the lack of success that Matt Stover's had today kicking the ball, I think you want to take a couple shots at putting it in for a touchdown.
Testaverde over the 400-yard mark, looking end zone.
He got it.
He's got it. Touchdown.
Unbelievable. Vinny Testaverde, what a fine season. What a fine game. Another wonderfully thrown deep touch pass.
22 yards, Vinny Testaverde to Michael Jackson in overtime, and the Ravens Ravens defeat the Rams 37-31.
Here it is. You take your shot at the end zone to take the pressure off your kicker. Vinny lays it in there perfectly. Jackson concentrates, pulls it in, drags his feet. It's picture perfect.
Jackson beats Jeremy Lincoln with 10 seconds to go in overtime. For Tim Green, Kenny Albert saying so long from Baltimore. You've been watching.